Hello everyone, welcome back to Fast Travel Lounge. We are on episode 6. I am Patrick, I am joined by Seth, Steve, and wait, no Josh this week. What's happening? This is where you guys say something.
Oh, isn't he on assignment? I thought he was like deep undercover in enemy lines.
No, I think his Xbox just broke.
His sex box broke.
I just assumed that he had to take a week out from recording because, you know, he had to schedule us around getting the President's Medal from saving all those cancer-ridden orphans from the burning building.
No, we were busy solving world hunger this time.
Oh, was it World Hunger this week? Okay, cool. I need to update my diary.
No, because he's teaming up with Elon for it. They said they've got a lot of like Doge or something.
Oh, right. That would make more sense. Yeah. No, we actually are missing Josh this week. He couldn't make it. We took the poll a little bit too literally, where we threatened it a couple weeks ago, and apparently enough people made good on it that he has been voted off for this week only. I'm kidding. He'll be back. He'll be back. Should be back on the next recording. He's just got a lot on his plate right now, so you're left with the three of us instead. How have you guys been?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, not too bad. I'm on my second week of my new job now, and it's going pretty good.
I'm just on that grind, that wage slave grind set.
The Sigma male grind.
Aren't we all? Did you guys get your Spotify Wrapped this year?
Yeah.
Santa treat you nice?
Yeah. Well, I don't really listen to a lot of music.
I don't use Spotify, so no.
What do you listen to instead then?
I just listen to podcasts. Our podcast.
Yeah, but like through Spotify?
Sick
No,
shill,
through
but that
YouTube.
should still show up on Spot. Oh, okay, you listen to it on YouTube. Never mind. I was almost able to get the old Uno Reverso shill going, but no, fair enough, because we are on YouTube.
What do you do if it's not, like, if you don't have any internet? Don't say what I think you're going to say.
I just watch TV or play games.
where we also are on channel 97. I'm kidding.
But if you, yeah, whatever. People are different? No, can't be.
Is what different?
People, I just thought that everybody used Spotify for podcasts, but you know what? It's a brave new world out there.
No, I use YouTube and SoundCloud.
It's a little unorthodox, I'll admit. I think that might have been a quote from a Shrek film. Now that I think about it.
Well,
Anyway,
the years stop coming and they don't stop coming.
in my Spotify Wrapped, I don't know whether they count November, December. I've seen some people say they do, some people say that they don't. But if let's say that November and December are in fact removed from Spotify Wrapped, if you were to just ask me at any point over this year, hey Patrick, what are you doing right now? You know, like 3 a.m., 6 p.m., 9 a.m. on a Monday, just any time. 20% shot that I'm listening to Spotify.
Yeah, no, like I'm the same.
Which I don't know, it's just kind of weird to think about because it's not like I'm sitting there only listening to Spotify, but the fact that 20% of my year had Spotify involved in some way is, I don't know, kind of cool, kind of sad. I can blame COVID lockdown for that, I guess, maybe.
Got to blame something though.
Always blame COVID for everything.
What was your most played song or artist?
Top song this year was Daylight by Joji and Diplo.
Ah, choice. Nice song.
Yeah, thank you. Had had to go through a strict nominations process, kind of like the Grammys. Had to pick out what I wanted my top 50 to be, and then there was a panel. Hashtag Patrick's Wrapped So White. But no, we got there. No, we decided on Daylight by Joji, and I think we made the right choice.
No, that's good. That's good. Good. It's a song.
Yeah, some would say it's a song. Some would say that it's a good song. I would say that it's a good song. Anyway, enough about my Spotify Wrapped. We will jump ahead to the news very quickly. Steve, what's the latest on your phone?
I don't want to fucking talk about it.
Oh.
I'm just very angry. So I picked it up from Samsung. They said, "Nope, you've ruined your phone yourself, or not. It doesn't come under warranty." I'm like, "You guys are scam artists, and I hate you." So I got it back. I thought they were going to charge me $65 as like an inspection fee, but they didn't. And I was like, oh, all right, that's cool. So then I told it down to the retailer that I bought it for. And keep in mind, it's already been formatted, no SIM card, so that's fantastic. I had to go back to my Samsung S9 that lasts for about 4 hours before the battery's like, no. So I walked down, took it down. They're like, yeah, this looks like that you did it, big fella. And I'm like, the hinge is fucked. How's it me? It's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I've never seen one like this before. Are you sure you didn't drop it? And I'm like, why would I drop it and then try to wouldn't the screen be cracked? I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever, man. Can you do the assessment? So they took my phone and it's going to be assessed. It can take up to 4 weeks because of Chrissy. And then hopefully they replace it. Because I asked just for my money back. I'm like, just give me my money back. I'll literally put that money into another phone right now. You guys do not lose any money. And they're like, nah. I'm like, rats. So it's off to get
So
assessed.
while you were there, how many times did you hear Mariah Carey's hit
Yeah,
song?
that's what we all really want to know.
I didn't think I hear it at all.
But it's December already.
Yeah, I didn't hear Mariah Carey. I haven't heard that Wham Christmas song either. But they do have Easter bunnies at Woolworths at the moment. That's
What?
countdown for you New Zealand listeners.
Yeah, no, but for Christmas, surely that's the Easter stock.
I think they're just sort of bringing it out now. People will buy it.
Are they from last Easter?
I don't know. Hopefully not.
Like
Does
if
chocolate go out of date?
like on the order of years, I'm pretty sure. But if you see a bunny, it's reduced to clear, expired, May 2021.
Ah.
maybe steer clear of it. I don't know. I think it depends on the quality because there's some chocolate that you get and you buy it and then it just like one month past when it's supposed to be used by and it gets that weird like powdery crap on the top of it and it tastes
Yeah, you're
tastes
right.
rough.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop me
It's
from
still
eating
good,
it,
like,
but it tastes rough.
the trick is it's like just. Well, I'm sure like if you could like melt it down and make like a good hot chocolate, and that's fine.
a good chocolate ganache.
I don't know what that is, but yeah, sure, that sounds nice.
I also don't know what that is. Can you explain it, Pat?
It would take too long, and I'm sure. Welcome back to the food podcast. No, I'm sure people tuning in would be much more interested in what we have played this week. So we'll just do a quick round the lounge.
Oh, it's like a moose thing. Sorry, I quickly googled it. It's like moose. I know what ganache is. Yeah, cool. It's like moose, sort of. But yeah, sorry. Anyway.
And on the back of looking up foreign sounding desserts, what have you been up to this week, Steve?
So Halo Infinite finally came out this morning, so I've put a couple of hours into that. But to finish it off, well, to sort of get there and get myself hyped for it, I've been playing Halo 5. So definitely not the best Halo game. I would say it's the worst. But yeah, we'll talk about that a bit later.
Okay, and Seth, what about you?
So directly after we finished last week's recording, I went and played the one of the sessions for the Dragon Ball The Breakers beta. I have some words about that, and also last weekend, Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker came out for early access, and I played that all weekend.
Alrighty. And obviously with Josh not here, we'll just assume that he's playing the game called Life, and that he might be winning.
God, I hope he's winning.
Do you think it's pay to win, Life? I reckon it probably is.
I feel like there's a lot of microtransactions in that.
Real kind of gotcha mechanics,
Do you think they also charge a subscription?
Yeah, there's
That's
that
a
just
good question.
rent.
Yeah, rent would be the obvious one.
Well, then what's the loot boxes in real life? Is it just sort of like buying discount bacon and not shitting yourself to death?
Yeah. Surely it's just like the ambiguous meat packs you can get from supermarkets at ridiculously cheap prices.
I think it's when you order from HelloFresh.
when you go grocery shopping on Wish.
Speaking of which, another potential sponsor for us, HelloFresh. Come on, we're just begging here.
We really are. Anyway, let's move into what we've actually been playing. So, Steve, tell us about Halo. Tell us about Halo 5 in your lead up to Infinite and how you've been faring.
Yeah, so Halo 5 is quite different to the rest of the Halos. It takes more of a squad-based approach. Like you're in a squad of 4, and you're not like a solo person up against the Covenant or the Flood or the Forerunners like you are in the other ones. It's sort of like you're either in a Blue Team, which is the original Spartan 2 program, and that's the Master Chief and 3 of his buddies. Or for a new twist to the series, you can play as Spartan Jameson Locke, who is in charge of Team Osiris, which is one of the new, I think they're Mark IV Spartans. And it's essentially sort of Master Chief sort of goes AWOL for a bit, looking for Cortana, because Cortana's gone rampant and has gotten lost by the Didact, which is this Forerunner thing at the end of 4. And then because he's gone AWOL and he's essentially disobeying the humanity type of thing, as Jonathan Locke, you're always sort of playing catch up and trying to find him. It sort of works, but it's not a Halo game. Like it feels very far off pace. It feels very low stakes because like every time, because depending on the way your health drops to zero, like if it drops down to zero just from like normal gunfire, you sort of like drop and then you can ask your teammates to revive you. And sometimes your AI teammates get there, and sometimes they just sort of run headfirst into a grenade, and it's like, oh well, checkpoint again, it's fine. But if you get like sticky with a grenade or like a rocket launcher type of thing, you're straight out. And that was semi inconsistent. Like some parts, like if you take, I think there was one time I took a point blank shotgun blast, and then I sort of, because it's a full runner weapon, I sort of disintegrated. But which means I don't get the revive. But before I'd taken the same shotgun blast, like a couple of steps out, and I just sort of dropped. So that was sort of, it just sort of feels like you can't really lose. Your teammates will always be there to help you, and even if you sort of just go into an environment and just sort of do nothing and hang behind a rock, they'll always be covering you, and they'll eventually get there anyway.
It sounds like it sounds like it's suffering from that generation's fascination of online co-op shooters. Like a lot of games in 7th gen were doing that.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that was sort of, unfortunately a sign of the times, and it might have worked if I had 4 buddies to go with. But then at the same time, I don't really think it would because the levels are like pretty short. I think I finished the campaign in like 6 or 7 hours. Like I was playing on medium difficulty to be fair, so I did just breeze through it and only died when I was just fucking around or doing shit mistakes.
Yeah, I've seen people play through that game and just sprint past encounters completely.
Yeah, and that's another big thing it suffers from as well. There's no, like, you can literally run past a good 60% of encounters. It's like simply because it's just like, okay, you've got to go from point A to point B. There are some levels where, yeah, like, it's like, oh, clear the area. And then that just literally just feels like padding. And then if you don't want to, and then, especially in the levels where you get like vehicles as well, you can literally skip past majority of the courses. That sort of just feels like it's a bit, yeah, it just doesn't feel very Halo. It doesn't feel like you're one Spartan against the world or the universe. It just feels like you're a team sort of playing catch up. And the story's pretty shit, as I said. Like it doesn't, feels like very out of place.
It's funny you say it feels like your team's playing catch up because I kind of think that Halo was a trendsetter when it came out, and now Halo 5 and a little bit of Halo Infinite feels like they're chasing trends now. Like so Halo 5 had that whole it was late to the 7th gen co-op party, and now Halo Infinite feels like it's a little late to the Ubisoft style open world sort of design.
Yeah, well, let's get into that. Let's get into Halo Infinite. I've played, like I played a bit this morning before work, then a bit after work. So I played for about 3 or 4 hours. I've just gotten to the open world part. It doesn't feel like it suffers from that Ubisoft open world shit where it's like you have to climb this tower to free everything, to sort of mark everything on your map, and then you go down there just to do the same thing infinitely.
Ha, nice.
Ironically,
Good pun on the
maybe that's
title
why
there.
it's called, yeah, ironically. But it does sort of suffer from that. All right, you've got 6 points on your map. You go there, you kill 6 enemies. All right, the part in the map is yours. It does suffer from that. But also keep in mind that I haven't played it. I'd like, because the open world part comes probably about 3 or 4 hours into the campaign. So like fairly after a while. And then I get the feeling it sort of will pad it out. Am I a fan of the open world thing in Halo? Probably not. I don't really like it as a concept. Halo, for better or for worse, is a very corridory type of shooter that was, like, as you said, it was defining of its generation when it came out, and Halo 2 the best in the series, and Halo 3 ODST Reach, all in that same vein, all very good. But maybe it'll grow on me. Like they do, like the grappling hook in single player just has like a cooldown. So when you're in multiplayer, there's like different power ups you can get, and I think the grapple hook has like 5 uses and then it's out.
Yeah, something like that, and it's also a cooldown between uses.
Yeah. Whereas is in the single player campaign, it just has like a cooldown, which is quite good. You can use it quite effectively. Like it's because the way the AI is not sort of that smart, so it never really gets out of the way when you're grappling them. So you just go straight towards them and just keep shooting them, and it's fine.
It's still odd that like even the idea of taking it into an open world, I mean, not only because, as you said, it's more of a corridor-based shooter, but also just because I can't really think of what an open world would do that would give it an advantage over a curated, like you could have like, mid-mission and open area and then take out the objective in a variety of different ways or whatever, but that's still like a curated large game area rather than just open world for open world's sake. Yeah, I'd be interested when you have played a bit more of it to get your thoughts as to whether that was worthwhile, because I think, particularly with other open world games that have come out recently, um, remakes aside, looking at you, Rockstar, that the open world games have just been a bit lackluster, and I feel like something that's been, well, sorry, aside from Forza Horizon 5, but I feel like the general thing of we will give players what they want and just make it open world has sort of been biting publishers in the ass a bit.
I think, and it comes down to that thing is like, are they doing open world because it suits the game, or are they doing open world so they can shove in the same 4 or 5 quests in a small area?
Yeah,
You do the same thing and it pads it out. So a 20-hour game, with just story content is fine, or if you can get 80 hours of content by having all these fortresses or lookout towers to climb and to hook up with, that sort of pads out the game, and that sort of.
do you have to trail a Covenant group before you assassinate them? True Ubisoft style.
No, not that I've seen. Not God, I fucking not. Like I am desperate because I've seen a couple of things online. Like the reviews dropped, like at 2 days, like on Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever it was, and I read one of them. And I sort of did get spoiled, but that's fine. Like it's no real surprises. But I'm just sort of surprised they went with the open world. I honestly thought it would be like that sort of thing you're talking before. Like it's an open area. You got 3 or 4 different ways to complete the objective. It's fine. But then at the end of the day, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying what I played so far. If the open world stuff sort of does get on, like, is it very disappointing? I'll flag it to our eager listeners. But then at the same time, like, depending on how they do it, I've still got to play it, and it's probably a bit unfair of me to be criticizing the open world, but I haven't even played it myself. But depending on how they do it, will probably impact my love or hate for the game. Like, I'm a very big fan of 1, 2, 3 reach an ODST. 4 sort of the same, 5 no. But they're all great corridor shooters that are like in sort of open environments type of thing. But if they go through this open world and they jam it through of all the Ubisoft type of just padding the game, it's not going to be very good.
I feel like oh, sorry, you go, Steph. I'll go after.
I was gonna say I'd be really disappointed if like the open world does feel like that, because the Doom games that have been coming out have proven that there's still a market for very curated linear level shooters that just get your adrenaline pumping throughout the levels.
Yeah, so I haven't played it, but from what I've heard, 2016 Doom and Doom Eternal like did that perfectly, and they sort of like redefined that sort of for the modern era. And I thought maybe that's what Halo would take advantage of, but maybe they're already too far down they took the open world Kool-Aid, as it were.
The Ubisoft pill.
Ubisoft really tainted the world, didn't they?
Yeah, but then but they set a trend, because I think it's like what, Far Cry 2 and the Assassin's Creed series.
Yeah,
They
Far
did the
Cry,
open
Far Cry
world.
2 into Assassin's Creed 1 was, I think, what really kind of sold
Yeah.
the play style of an open world game.
And those were different at the time, and it was great, but nothing's changed since.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, it's also funny that, like, I mean, here we are getting off topic. Classic us. But Assassin's Creed 1 actually doesn't hold up very well as a game, because that was 2007-ish, and at the time, great, very, very technically advanced, a whole bunch of new gameplay concepts introduced, all that sort of stuff. But when you look back on it, most of the quests were like three variants of the same basic premise, and then it was just a bunch of different maps that you existed in.
Yeah, it was they just had eavesdrop on some people to hear something, tail these people to hear something. It wasn't very diverse in what it was doing, but it was very proof of concept, and I feel like they peaked when they hit Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
Yeah, and also with Far Cry 2 and Far Cry 3, I think that was maybe Far Cry 3 a little bit more than Far Cry 2, because Far Cry 2 was very sort of expansive for expansive sake. Like you could drive for a while and You're just eating distance.
Yeah, you're driving. But it was sort of like, and the same thing can sort of be said of Morrowind at the same time with those Elder Scrolls games. They were pushing the genre. They were pushing to see what they can do. Everybody loved them. They were revolutionary at the time, but there has been no innovation since. Like,
I
you look
feel
at-
like that's not a great comparison though. Like I sort of see what you're getting at, but I feel like something like Morrowind or just even the Elder Scrolls RPGs in general, they're sort of set up to be that kind of sandbox that you play in. Like Assassin's Creed had a story, so as soon as you introduce an open world, you need to introduce that open world in service to the story. Saints Row had a story. It's an open world and it's full of dumb shit you can go and do for several hours, but it still has a story you need to go and do. Technically, Elder Scrolls has a story, but I sunk, I don't know, 100 plus hours into Oblivion, never touched the story, which came back to bite me in the ass when I over leveled myself. But I feel like all of the premise of like Halo 1 wasn't just a great game because of the gameplay. It was a great game because of what the story was. You were just kind of this faceless unit and you had an objective to go and do, and it just happened that there were a whole bunch of corridors in your way. I know that, since it's swapped developers' hands and things, that premise has changed a little bit since. But I think there is a difference between when you're a publisher and you decide, or a developer and you decide, yeah, we want an open world, or yeah, we want to really focus and nail down this story.
yeah, maybe it was an unfair comparison. Because those are open world games first and story games second. But yeah, so too long, didn't read. I'm enjoying it so far. Let's see how we go.
Yeah, see how we go.
I'm surprised we had this entire open world discussion and didn't bring up Breath of the Wild once.
I love Breath of the Wild's open world. Let's leave it at that.
I also actually like Breath of the Wild's open world quite a lot.
My favorite part is when you swing your sword 5 times and it breaks.
I mean, that's not a problem with the open world. That's a problem with the weapon design, which is very bad.
I'm sorry, Steve. Do you have a problem? Do you have a problem with revolutionary gameplay design?
Yes.
Think of how many games you can swing swords and they don't break. Okay, Nintendo wanted to do something different.
But then, like, if your sword breaks and you've got none left.
But it's not a new mechanic. Dark Souls does it too.
And to a lesser extent, the Fallout series as well.
So, actually, now that you touch on that one, Dark Souls I am less familiar with than Bloodborne. Would you consider Bloodborne to be an open world game?
No.
Nah.
It's more Metroidvania-ish.
It's more circular.
Circling.
Nuclear.
Yeah, it's a lot of interconnected linear levels.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it's interesting though in that there are some games like I think there are games with hub worlds that are open world. Like even bloody Pokemon X and Y had that city that was basically just Paris. I can't remember the name of it, but
Lumio City.
yeah, that was like a hub world that was almost an open world. Like
I wouldn't call that a hub world. I'd say that's a central town.
They're like splitting hairs a bit, but it's interesting that it's kind of like here are all these different examples of the same thing. Of here's just this expanse, go and do something, and the way that you approach it would be different from player to player. But it's interesting that you kind of have a sense of what an open world game is, but you can't. It's sort of kind of hard to define almost. Yeah, like I would almost say there are parts of Borderlands 3 that are open world. Excuse me, that are open world. There are levels that are very linear. There are a lot of levels that are very linear, but I think it strays the line of being an open world game because there are so many places where they have all the hallmarks of an open world game.
Is it an open world game with corridor shooting parts?
Kind of, yeah.
Because I played 2 in pre-sequel.
Yeah, well, like it'd be like 2, right? When you go to the dust.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like here's this big world. You can go and or not even just the dust. There are like several places that it's like here's this big world. There's a bunch of discovery to do. There's a bunch of side quests to do. It's basically an open world, but you wouldn't call Borderlands an open world game. You'd say that it has open world elements. I feel like we're getting horrendously off topic now, but it's sort of interesting.
It starts into splitting hairs between what's an open world and what's a sandbox.
Yeah, maybe that's
Yeah, good point.
That's probably a good way of summing up my thoughts.
So just my last thought, because I thought of it, I have to say it now. Is City Skylines an open world game?
I don't know what that game is.
City. Think of Sim City, but better.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's a sim game then. A town builder.
All right, play on. Yeah, all right. But with open, okay, look good. So too long didn't read. Play Halo Infinite. If you got Game Pass, you live in the dream. Because it's out on Game Pass day one. The multiplayer is for free. Go play that. The Battle Pass they're sort of fixing up. So you can get XP points quite easily now.
Yeah, it was so tedious the first time.
Oh god,
and
50
they
XP per
did
game.
slowly.
Yeah, they're sort of
Yeah.
fixing it.
It,
But
it
I just
wasn't even 50 XP per game originally. It was
Oh,
like
that's
50
right, it was-
XP
yeah, it
for
was
the
nothing per
first,
game,
and
yeah,
then
that's right.
2, and then 5.
Oh, so one of those like come and play and get your first win, and then that's really the only game you have an incentive to play because the
Yeah.
rest is just you like walking over hot coals for the remaining time that you're playing.
Yeah, and then they eventually after that like initial day, they're like, okay, we'll make it every game is worth 50 XP, and that's like, okay, that's a bit better. And now I think they're doing it a little bit more, like incentivizing more than that.
So it's 300 for your first game, 200 for games 2, 3, 4,
That's
100 for your fifth game, and then 50 for your sixth game. So really, there's no point playing more than 6 games a day.
Yeah.
Unless you've got the premium battle pass. So which is just so I usually put in like 2 or 3 games a day, get the shits because I get put with absolute fucking starfish. Play the fucking objective, people. Don't just not everything Slayer. If it's oddball, hold the fucking ball.
No, but that's the problem with the battle pass system is that it incentivizes not playing the objective.
Yeah, because like you've got to meet your fucking challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, you
God,
gotta
I
meet
hate
your
it.
challenges, and it's like, oh, do like kill a certain amount of players on warthogs and destroy a certain amount of vehicles. It's like, well, we're about to hit our objective, and this is like the first time I've seen this map that has a warthog. I gotta try and extend it
Yeah.
out as long as I can.
Yeah, let me just go destroy the warthog real quick. Like finger on the winning button.
But my challenge is to win one quick play match, and I haven't won a quick play match in like 6 matches. So I'm literally. Anyway, too long didn't read. Play Halo.
Too long didn't read part 3. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's interesting. So I actually want to segue off of that just because in Forza, random Patrick ramblings moment here. Welcome back. They also it's kind of God, here we're going to split hairs again. It's not a battle pass. It has battle pass elements. So if you
So it's a battle pass.
but not. So it's like every week you have a bunch of shit that you can do that if you don't get it done by the end of the week, it goes. And if you do enough of it, it'll give you a car, and if you do all of it, it'll give you another car. That's the TLDR of it. And there are some other stuff that you do that you do this championship, do this stunt, whatever. It'll give you a car, it'll give you a horn, it'll give you something that makes it worthwhile to play. But there's always a couple things in there. One is you need to matchmake with other humans already off to a bad start to beat unbeatable drivatars. Awesome. Cool. What they did for last week's one was they removed the performance limits on cars. So they just said you can only drive a list of, I think, 5 cars, but it doesn't matter how wildly you spec them. So in the same thing that you go and matchmake in, you could have someone that drives a D-class car with a top speed of like 150 and looks straight out of the 1960s. And someone would rock up with an X-class car, which, is capable of hitting 400. And the annoying part of it is that, I mean, you say starfish. Someone told me, like, pet rock, and that's the term I use for people, but you have to go and collect a bunch of pet rocks and drag them over the line ahead of all the drivatars. And boy, there's this amazing correlation, probably just like in real life, where people with fast cars can't fucking drive. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's so the problem is you'll matchmake and you get in a game with 5 other people, 5 other humans, and you all have the same objective. You're all on the same team. There's no like you finishing ahead of another human doesn't mean shit. You just have to beat the AI. But my god, the drivatars that get matched against the human. So if let's say everyone picks the same class of car, all the drivatars will be the same class. They match you at that, and then they just make the drivatar difficulty unbeatable. But if you get into like a mixed lobby where like I'll drive, let's say, an S2 or an S1, and then some jackass will show up in an X class, which is just a couple hundred horsepower more than mine and lighter and just everything. It's just a better car than mine, and I will finish in front of him, but I can't beat an X-rated drivatar. Like that's just out of the question.
So is this like a pornographic thing if it's X-rated? Like what's the deal with that?
It's just so like the way that Forza measures performance is the points go from Anything below, I think 500, maybe 600 is a D class, and then goes up in hundreds, and then you go to 998, like 998 points is the top of S2, and that's kind of where the game thinks that it could reasonably balance you against other driver tars and other players and stuff. And then if you put any more performance points in the car, it just goes 999 X class, and then X is just like open season.
Ah, shit. So it's just like the supercars, like mega supercars. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like you wanna rock up in your 480 kilometer an hour Koenigsegg, go for it. That's an X class race for you, buddy. But the thing is, if you're not in that category, it's real hard to beat unbeatable driver tars that are in that category.
Yeah.
And so the only way that I managed to get the pet rocks over the line was by getting enough of them to quit that eventually there's just down to like me and some other guy. And because there's now 2 humans to 6 driver tars, you could just earn proportionally more points, and then it's easier to win. But man, I know the starfish problem. I have experienced it. It's awful.
I was hoping you'd say that you managed to do it by just getting behind the pet rocks and driving up their ass to push them ahead.
I actually do the opposite. So, it so happens that I guess I'm rather good at Forza in that I'm usually in the top 3 or so. And so if I can get in front of enough driver tars, I'll just start like wide-assing my way to slow them down, like just constantly sitting in front of them and just braking just ever so slightly and just keeping them behind me. And then all the other humans go past. And so I'll start, first, finish 6th. But if I can get a block of people in front of a block of driver tars, we win. So I'm doing the Lord's work on the Forza Horizon servers, and for anyone that's played with me, you're welcome, because you didn't deserve that without my help, you cretin.
Did you benefit from carrying?
Oh, it absolutely does. The other one, which much easier to talk about, is that the PvP also gives you a reward every week. And
Is that battle royale thing they've got that I've heard so much about?
No. So that's eliminated. That if you just finish above 30, they give you a prize. That
Okay.
I think is generally fairly well balanced, because if you don't get it the first time, you can kind of cheese your way into the top 30. Like there's only 50 that start. It's not super hard to obtain. But no, the PvP is like the playground games where they split you into 2 teams, and then you just have to battle it out. And there'll always be someone on one team that just knows what they're doing more than everyone else. But only recently, and I say recently as in maybe a year ago, but at least through Horizon 3 and Horizon 4, they didn't give you a prize unless you won PvP, which meant that in a best of 5 you had to win 3 games. That sucked. It sucked for a whole number of reasons, and it got to the point where if you lost the first round, half your team would just give up and they'd just quit and then matchmake again, which meant that it was now impossible for you to win. Which also meant that if you won the first game, half the enemy team would quit and then you were basically guaranteed the victory. But only recently, I don't know how it took them this long, they decided if you finish PvP, you get the prize. I'm normally not a big participation trophy guy, but that seemed like such a no-brainer change.
Yeah.
Like you winning quick play versus you just playing a quick play match seems like a no-brainer change to me. Because either way, you're back playing Halo every day. That's what they want.
Yeah, I think that mission is specifically for like the battle pass progression challenges rather than just come and play the game sort of challenge. Because just playing in quick play will give you XP anyway.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just like artificial difficulty, which is weird because Forza Horizon is like a 90% co-op game, but man, it hurts. Every week it's just like time to play with other humans. Can't wait to lose several brain cells trying to drive in front of them for the next 20 minutes.
So is Forza Horizon 5 the Dark Souls of car racing games?
To the people that find their way into my lobbies, you make me wish it wasn't. But it feels like it is. Just for you. I'm looking at you. You're the guy that sees that you're racing with Pancake Rivet? Yeah. Yeah, you notice that you're finishing in like 10th each race? I notice. Because I have to do that thing multiple times just to get my little car prize and go on with my day. So thank you for that, you dick.
The simplest way to get over this is to just not care.
Well, not play.
just go play Halo Infinite. Nah, some of the prizes are pretty good though, which is the problem. Is just like you want it, and weirdly, I think other people on your team also want it. It's just weird that other people on your team that also want it suck at the game. I don't know. Anyway, welcome. Thus ends another episode of Patrick's Rants. Welcome back to Fast Travel Lounge.
Well, speaking of absolutely brain dead people that don't know how to play games, Dragon Ball: The Breakers.
Oh yeah, let's get into that.
So it's a 7-player match, I think it was. I play this. Okay, so let's start off with on the weekend, basically over a 2-day period, there was 4 sessions that were 3 hours long each for the beta. I only played one of those sessions because they were all at inconvenient times for me. So the game split up into there's 6 or 7 survivors, and there's one person that's a Dragon Ball villain. In this case, for the beta, it was Cell, and the survivors kind of need to work together to win their objective, and it's super hard to do that. There's so much against you to try and win as a survivor, and I'm not sure if Dead by Daylight is a similar way in that it feels like an impossible uphill challenge to win, but it felt really impossible in this game because there's so many little things you got to work towards to win, and they all suck.
Is it bad that I saw the trailer for that and just assumed that it was a game mode within Fortnite?
No, not really.
Because I like if you showed me the trailer for Dragon Ball: The Breakers and then said this is coming to Fortnite, I would have just said, "Oh, okay, cool, that makes sense." Like it's such a similar kind of graphical style.
Yeah, it's a lot like I think it's supposed to be the Xenoverse style for this.
Yeah, definitely looks like it's a Xenoverse style.
Because I think the story is also an offshoot from the Xenoverse games as well.
So what sort of things do you have to work towards? Like, okay, so think about how dumb the average person is, and then realize that's average and that 50% is below that. So what does the 50% like half smooth brain man have to do to beat Cell?
Okay, so the map is broken up into 6 quadrants. There's A, B, C, D, E, and Z. Z is where your ultimate goal is going to end up being. The
Why do I feel like that's not the alphabet?
yeah, no, it
Aren't they just code variants?
Yeah. I didn't want to say it, but it occurred to me. Yeah. Stay away from Delta.
A through to E all have keys in them and places to put the keys scattered throughout them. So each of the survivors need to make it to each of the zones and grab a key and put them into where they're meant to go. And once all 5 keys are placed, it opens up a time machine in the center of the Z area, and all the survivors have to work together to try and turn on the time machine, or the Cell in this case has to destroy it. And it's a lot easier for Cell to destroy it than it is for the survivors to bring it together. The ways that will help the survivors do this is that as you're going along, you'll gather what's called change power, and the higher level change power you get, the more powerful you become when you change into a Dragon Ball character. So for my setup, I had when I get to level 1, I'll turn into Yamcha. At level 2, I'll turn into Vegeta, and at level 3, I'll turn into Goku.
Classic Goku Bros. We won.
I'll get into why I was Goku later.
What color hair Goku?
It puts a wig on of his black hair.
Fuck, that's disappointing.
Yeah, I was on board until you said that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Wait, so is it just like animation of them putting on a wig? Sorry,
No, you just transform into them. Like you just quickly
Oh
pop.
my god.
You just quickly pop into their that character's costume and hairstyle, but it's still your face underneath.
Weird,
Fucking hell.
but continue.
I never got above change power 1. It seems really hard to get higher than that with the amount of time that was in the beta. I've seen people get to change power 2, and like once I saw someone get to change power 3.
You heard rumors of Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah, I've heard rumors of it.
Had to go see for yourself.
The change power is important because depending on what grade Cell is at, you can fight back against him easily or harder. So if he's at level 0, then you at base form will be able to fight against him. If he's at level 1, then you need to be in change power 1 to do significant damage and blocking to him. a fun thing that happened at one of the end of my games was that it was down to me and one other person. The cell was just hovering over the person that I was going to try and revive, and so I tried for a little bit, and I turned into my Yamcha, which does jack shit against him, and he just kind of swatted me away. But he tried to chase after me after but I somehow managed to lose him for like 5 seconds. So I went over to my partner and started reviving them, but then the cell just comes back and just starts staring at me, like just menacingly standing there. So I just left myself to my fate. I stopped reviving my partner, walked up to him, and tried to punch him. And the funniest thing happens where your character will punch them, but Cell just no sells it. Like when Hercule punched Android 18, he just absorbs the punch and just stands there staring at you. It was a very fun encounter there.
But did you win?
No, he killed me in one swat.
Oh, Jesus.
So it was close.
Yeah, it was close though.
That's true to form for Yamcha, but like.
just properly role playing.
I was back to normal at that point, so it was just my character.
Oh, even worse.
Yeah.
So like I'm pretty sure the other games, they generally have a way of, like obviously it's easiest if everyone's alive, but it's still feasible that you could win if you weaken them all and there's only one or two of you left alive. But it seems like either everyone stays alive or you all die. Is that kind of...
That feels like what's going to happen, because I think what they're aiming for is that when the time machine comes up, you need someone with a change power equal to Cell's so that they can hold him off, while everyone else groups around the time machine and powers it up, because it goes absurdly slow if you're by yourself, but it goes much faster if multiple people are trying to turn it on.
That just seems like weird game design, because the whole...
Yeah.
like I get the whole asymmetric, work together to defeat the common enemy, but like you're being held to ransom by the people that you're with, and it's not even like, because Dead by Daylight I think is 4v1. Prey I'm pretty sure was also 4v1, or Evolve, or whatever the hell the other one was.
Yeah, and this
that
is
really
6.
kind of started that. Yeah, and then they just go, no, we need more people to just be upset at one another.
Yeah, and what makes it even easier for the Cell to win is that once he hits level...
Is that he just has a gun.
No, I mean, yes.
He just 9mm you, and there's not, and you just have to take it.
He does, because every time he levels up, he can destroy a zone, shrinking the map size.
What?
What happens with that is that once a zone is destroyed, the key there doesn't matter anymore. Whether it's acquired or not, that zone's just taken out. It doesn't matter anymore.
So what's the...
I don't think... Yeah, I
feel like
I can't fucking get it.
Yeah, I feel like you're doing your best to describe it, but it just, like, the way that this is phrased seems like just weird game decision after weird game decision, and we're just left with this weird 6v1 free-for-all where just like whose line is it anyway? The scores are made up and the points don't matter.
I think the idea is meant to be that Cell can destroy an area, so it brings down his like area of search. But in doing so, he brings the key limit down from 5 to 4, then 4 to 3. So he's making it less work for the survivors, but at the same time making it less area he's got to search for those survivors. And if anyone's caught in those zones, then they're brought back to the center of the map as well.
So they don't even die when he shrinks the zone.
I think they go down to 1 HP. It happened to me once, and I can't remember exactly what happened. I think
I might have died. I don't remember.
Yeah, no, this was like this was a while ago. I think you.
There was a shiny green man staring at me.
You either go back there at very low health, or you go back there and you're downed, and someone needs to revive you. Because everyone gets 1 revive as well, was another thing.
See, that's also weird that you only revive each other once.
It is also extremely slow to revive people. You need multiple people over you to revive at a good pace.
Oh, okay. So it's basically just mob rule versus Cell.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying it though? Did you have a good time with it?
I did have a good time. Okay, so
playing as Cell, just wrecking people, I assume.
Yeah, playing even as a survivor, you have some fun tools. Like one of the things I liked doing was because I had Vegeta on my second slot, I could call down the Saiyan pods to come land in front of me. It has an area of effect so that if Cell comes near me, he gets knocked back, and then I just jump into it and go. I can quick travel to any point in the map. So that was a fun ability to have. You also get a grapple hook.
Oh, of course you do. Wonder where they got that idea from.
The thing I wanted to mention before about things being absurdly easy for Cell, he has the ability to sense ki. So you can stand over a zone of the map, hit right on the D-pad, and just spin your camera around until you see some blue flames to see where other players are, and just head straight to their direction.
Or just blow up the zone that they're in, and then they come to you.
Yeah, you could also do that, but I find I think it's more incentivized to go towards them, because if you knock them down and then finish them off, then you work towards leveling up a lot easier.
So you're going to spend money for it when it comes out, or you just got to wait for a deep sale, or are you just going to see if any of the boys are playing it?
If it comes out for 80 Australian, I think it's worth it at that price point.
80 Australian dollars.
$80.
Yeah. I think if it's around 80 Australian, I'd get it.
Right.
So you're gonna pay 80. You're gonna pay 80 Australian bucks, where every time you go into a match, a seventh of them you'll have a good time, and the other six you just go, wow, humanity really does just suck.
I had a good time either way. It's just it feels like an impossibility to win as a survivor, but I think that also has something to do with the really bad translation and really bad tutorial in this beta. That if once they sort them out in a full release, it could be a lot more fun.
Do you reckon it'll have a story mode?
I believe it will.
Wild.
Will you play as Cell or a survivor in the story?
I imagine what you're in the hub world as your survivor character. So I'd imagine it's through their perspective.
So is it a hub world with open world elements?
Yeah. Or is it more of a sandbox?
For the beta, it was just like this one round platform with a shop and some stuff on it.
Oh, so it's Sonic 06.
Yeah.
So you're going to pay 80 Australian bucks to have fun 1/7 of every game you jump in, and it's also Sonic 06.
Yes.
Ringing endorsement.
I am very easy to please.
Oh my god.
But no, it was genuinely fun. I'd pay that amount of money. Before I end though, I did want to bring up that it has gacha.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So yeah, they have to be monetizing this in some other way, because 80 Australian bucks, as high as that seems for what you've told me about this game, still feels like they have other monetization strategies in play.
I'm not convinced it's a monetization thing, because this could be like the thing in Dragon Ball FighterZ, where as you play the game, you just get currency to randomly unlock things, like unlock colors and everything. So it might just be all in-game gacha mechanics, because the way it was handled in this was that by rolling in the gacha, you'd get different abilities and costumes. You'd get different abilities and costumes. So the reason I ended up going Goku as my third was because I unlocked his Kaioken attack and his ripped up gi costume. So I was like, oh well, I got these from the gacha. I'll put these on for my level 3.
Yeah, which sounds sick, given that you've never seen it.
Yeah.
You've only heard rumors. Nice gacha mechanic game.
Yeah, if only I got to that coveted level 3. I think what gives you really great change power is if you manage to collect 7 Dragon Balls. But I think only one character can use the Dragon Balls at any given time, which makes it even worse.
Why?
I did manage to summon a dragon in one of the games, but I was playing as Cell that game.
Wait, so okay, so what? Did the dragon kill you?
No, what I did for the dragon as Cell was I just asked for my health to be restored, because I was already at perfect Cell stage, so the other wish did nothing for me. What you could wish for as Cell was either give me an extra level, evolution level, or restore my health. So that extra evolution level helps if you're in like first form or second form Cell. But because I was in final form, that did nothing.
So you can't even ask for like a heavy weapon drop or a warthog to spawn or anything?
No,
I
you
can't even
can't.
wish to win the game. What the fuck? That's literally.
I mean, you're already playing as Cell. You've already won.
Yeah, okay.
I wish the 6 humans attached to the server would just perish.
just round them up and tie them all up for me in the middle of the arena.
Yeah. I mean, it's gotta be like some sort of mental damage when you're playing as a survivor, and the thing that can already kill you with ease summons a dragon.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see if someone has summoned a dragon, but yeah.
So it's an invisible dragon. That's kind of cool. I'm back on board. $80 seems like a good price.
I will take that $80, and I'll give you a better experience.
Are there gacha mechanics for Cell? Like, can you just make Cell like when he goes to perfect Cell, he's like pink or something?
Yes, there is actually. There's you can unlock other colors for the for Cell and everything. I didn't see that. I'm not sure if it was in the beta, but they did.
but you heard rumors. You heard rumors that you might get to level 3.
They showed tutorial screens that showed, hey, you can get alternate colors and stuff for the characters. So they showed like a white Cell.
Seems a little
White
on the
Cell.
nose, but
I get it. Is there a?
yeah, because he fights infection.
Would you like if there was a gacha mechanic to make Chris Pratt the voice of Cell?
Oh man, if they get it, so the dub in this was only Japanese. If they do an English dub, it has to be Chris Pratt. Actually, I don't want Chris Pratt to be Cell. I want Cell's voice actor to be Cell, but I want Chris Pratt as an option for my Survivor.
What if it was Nathan Fillion doing his best Chris Pratt impression to voice Cell?
That's got to be the Trunks voice.
It's just Chris Pratt yelling for like and saying it's over 9,000 for the entire. That's his only line.
God,
No, but he just says it really calmly.
It's over 9,000.
Chris Pratt trying to do a Dragon Ball yell would be hilarious.
All right, Chris, if you're listening out, if you're listening, send us a message. fasttravellounge@gmail.com.
Yeah. If you're listening, prove us wrong.
We've mentioned you every episode. Please give us some crumb of acknowledgement.
You've had the challenge issued. It's on you to prove us wrong.
Yeah, it's like the most expensive 7 out of 10 I'd ever play.
You mean 1 out of 7?
Yeah. Yes, my 1 out of 7 enjoyment.
Yeah. There we go. So it's not actually out because this was just the test, right? So when's it actually coming out?
We just know it's sometime in 2022.
Oh yeah. Are they going to be doing another? Do you know if they're going to be doing like a repeat for the net? I assume this was like a network test. Are they going to be doing a repeat for that?
I don't even know if this was a network test. I think this was just a test to see how people enjoyed the game and what sort of feedback they'd give.
Oh, so the feedback is give survivors guns.
They do have guns. The problem is that the game's very bad at telling you how to use the guns. So I guess I'll like just to quickly cap this off. The translation in the beta was really bad. So when you pick up a gun, you'll get this little notification that says item help on R1. That's a lie. It's supposed to be translated to use item is R1.
That's so like. It's so weird that, like, you know, obviously it's a mistranslation, but just the idea that there's a button that you press gives you help with the item.
Yeah, like.
So I'm just gonna press the shoulder button, and then like a menu pops up going, "Hey, you press the shoulder button. Here's how you use a potion."
Yeah, that's why it was so confusing, because you see that phrase and you think, oh, if I press this button, it's going to tell me like about the weapon, but I'm running for my life at the moment. I don't want some little menu popping up telling me what to do.
Yeah.
But you've actually got to hold it down and then press the triangle button while holding down R1 to fire your rocket launcher. And there was another item that I was picking up, but I have no idea what it was used for. And none of the tutorial pages mentioned what that item did.
Grappling hook?
No, it was like this blue jar that was called a recharger of something, like a barrier charger.
Wait,
Oh, so
it's a jar.
The Fortnite. Yeah, Fortnite blue juice.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So it is just a Fortnite mod. So we got all this way only for you to tell me it is actually just a Fortnite mod.
Yeah, I actually went and installed Fortnite just to get Naruto in my game.
Yeah.
Well, they've got Spider-Man in it. Naruto's like old news now. They've got Spider-Man in it now, and looks like they're dropping.
Do you imagine you load up Dragon Ball: The Breakers, and then you're surviving alongside Ariana Grande, Naruto, Spider-Man, and you all have to work together to fight Cell.
I'd probably pay 100 Australian for that.
Oh, everything alright at home, big fella?
Yeah,
this is absolutely
it's
his
fine.
cry for help.
I mean, it's going better here for me than it is for Josh.
Do you reckon Josh just said he was busy because he's busy playing Ariana Grande in Dragon Ball: The Breakers?
He seems like more of a Naruto person to
Really?
me, or a Rick Grimes.
Rick Sanchez.
Rick Sanchez. That's
So
the
apparently, if you get yourself turned into a pickle, that's like pretty funny, but I didn't get it.
I don't
no,
know,
it's
man.
the
That's the funniest shit I've ever seen. I'm not sure if that was an intentional setup, Steve, but if it was, well played.
It was. That was the best alley.
Oh man, you just gotta sometimes you just gotta, lick the stamp and send it. You know what I mean?
That's a good one. Yoink.
Oh.
Can't wait. That one will be nice in my repertoire of sayings.
Can't wait to see that one reposted on the internet because I'm sure I'm the one that came up with
I
it first.
reposted. Hey, that's a good one with
interesting.
stamps. Hey, did it.
Yeah, hey, look at that. Yeah. No, the game actually does sound kind of interesting. It's just, I don't know. It's just the downsides to it make it seem like a chore to play the game more than average. But the few times that you get to play as Cell would just be sick. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think if another beta test comes out and they work on some of the things that make this frustrating to play, it could be a very polished, decent multiplayer game.
Do you see it becoming an esport?
I don't see it becoming an esport. I don't see how you could make it an esport.
FaZe Clan team of 6.
Oh, face.
Real big coordination on the survivor side.
I don't see that happening. There's too much leaning towards Cell just taking it.
So that would be even more amazing when FaZe Clan just, YYs them across the map with a rocket launcher, right?
Exactly.
No, it's cool. Thank you for that. But Dragon Ball Z, not the only game you've been playing this week.
Yeah, no, I also played Endwalker for quite a bit during the weekend.
Endwalker being
the newest Final Fantasy 14 expansion.
There we go. See, I can just read that, but listeners like me until I just read that would have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm very bad about that. I'm sorry. I guess to start off with, I should preface this with, holy shit, the queue times in this game have been horrid, and the games are buckling under how many people are trying to play this at once.
Yeah, so you're describing the good queue problem, not the bad queue problem.
Oh no, there's a bad queue problem as well, because the queue is susceptible to crashing over packet loss.
No. What I mean is the good queue problem is it takes ages to find a game because so many people want to play the game at once. The bad queue problem is it takes ages to find a game because no one wants to find a game.
Yeah. I think in this case it's good for it's just a hindrance in general. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, for the health of the game, it's good that there's so many people that want to play the game. But as a player and as
But for
the
your
developers, yeah, as a player and from the developer's standpoint, this many players is detrimental to the game, and it's hurt them so much.
So you're gatekeeping now.
Yeah, everyone, get off the servers. This is my game. Let me play.
You're a Final Fantasy 14 fan. Name all 14 Final Fantasies.
No, actually, surprisingly, if I want to play during the week after work, I've actually got a very good time to go on, because since it's on an American server, when I finish work at 6 o'clock, I've got like a 30-second queue.
You've got that brief golden window where living in Australia isn't just a chronic punishment.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel for all of my friends and my girlfriend over in America that, like, when they finish work, they're sitting in queue for 3 hours. It's like, no, please don't. They got to sort something out for this.
Wow, 3 hours of queue time. That's probably enough time to play a few rounds of Dragon Ball Z: The Breakers.
It's exactly one beta session.
Look at that.
At what point do you just sort of like, all right, this isn't fun? Like,
yeah, imagine being the guy that queues for 2 hours and 50 minutes and goes, nah, fuck this.
Internet timeout.
This is part of the problem I was going to mention, is that so they did an emergency maintenance last night, I think, to try and fix this problem, but it's still around. The queue is susceptible to packet loss, and that will make you drop out with a 2002 error. So people would actually have to sit there for the 3-hour queue and babysit to make sure that they're not dropped from the queue. If they did drop, they had about a 10-minute window where the servers would hold their place in line. And if you didn't get back in those 10 minutes, then you'd have to start back at the end. So, that just forced people to sit there for that 3-hour queue, make sure they didn't get a 2002 error, and if they did, try to log back on as quickly as possible, hoping that they can even make it back to the queue in those 10 minutes, because some people just couldn't.
So, what I'm interested in, you're sitting here looking at something for 3 hours. What's on the screen? Does it just give you like a scrolling little like helpful tip? Or does it just have like your call is very important to us. You are this place in the queue.
Press the left click button to tag.
Is your character in a blue void with some nice Final Fantasy music playing, and your place in queue. above that character.
So you're in purgatory. You're in purgatory for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then God decides if you go to heaven or hell.
There was a point where I was sitting at one player. I was one person away from joining, so I was the number one person in queue, and I was sitting there for 5 minutes waiting for it to let me in. At that point, I was like, "Please, just lie to me. Tell me I'm fifth. Don't tell me I'm the next person. Just tell me there's a couple of people in front of me so I can feel better about this."
So if you want to play, do you have to like go DDoS someone to get them off of the server?
The server's basically DDoSed at the moment with how many people are in. Because apparently the servers only hold about 17,000 people. I think they just got updated to 21,000 after that emergency maintenance. But because of the super...
That's a pretty impressive emergency maintenance.
Yeah.
4K boost from 17. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's actually pretty. It's a pretty good. Yeah, but part of that emergency maintenance was also to try and stop that 2002 error. But that hasn't worked out because people are still getting that. They did want to have the servers even better and have more servers just available for people to go onto, but because of the worldwide semiconductor shortage, they just can't. It's a real big issue at the moment. Part of the reason why this is happening as well is WoW just shooting itself in the foot and all of the players migrating from WoW over to 14.
But didn't they hear that there's a Minecraft update out?
I don't think MMO players care about Minecrafts like that.
Well, I mean, if you've got 3 hours in queue, boy, you could do a lot of shit in Minecraft.
Yeah.
You could.
Anyway, we've spent, I'm looking at the clock, almost 6 minutes talking about how shit the queue is. What's it like when you actually got in? Tell us about the game.
It's such a good game. I'm in the third area, so every expansion adds 6 areas. Recently I found out that before every expansion, you'd basically know what every area was. So when 14 Heavensward was coming out, they only officially revealed 5 areas in like patch notes, but people knew what the 6th area was because of trailers.
Oh, I see.
Then when Stormblood came out, everyone knew what all 6 areas were. But with Shadowbringers, they only talked about 5 of them, and they kept that last one secret throughout the entire game. I'm not sure how if you guys have seen any marketing for Endwalker.
Very little.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of YouTube ads, but I don't have a membership to it, so I'm probably not in their marketing category thing.
So the marketing for this has been very heavily the moon. You're going to the moon. The moon is going to be this big thing, and the game.
So the servers are just crypto miners.
Yes.
We're Lambo.
The moon's actually the moon's.
You get to see Fran go up while you wait 3 hours to join the server. Go on.
Sorry.
Yeah. Throughout the game's story, the moon has actually been kind of important because you'd always see the ringleader of the villain group up on the moon every now and then.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so it always felt like this is supposed to be like the game's end goal. This is where you'll end up going. Turns out that's only the 4th area in this expansion, and there's 2 more that they just have not talked about or even hinted at.
Is it canon that someone's girlfriend turned into the moon?
Not in this game, but there was a lesser moon that had Bahamut stuck inside it.
That's kind of cool.
Right.
Yeah, that lesser moon opening up and letting Bahamut out destroyed Final Fantasy 14.
It still sounds kind of cool. I think I'm okay with that. I weigh up the pros and cons. I still think I'm on the pros side of this.
Yeah, no, it was very pro because it nukes 1.0, and that's what led to A Realm Reborn, which is when 14 started becoming good.
Oh.
When's it coming to Xbox?
After Temtem, bro.
No, there's actually talks about an Xbox version coming at some point. I think
They've spoken about it for the last couple of years.
I think it's just because of like the server issues they're having at the moment. They couldn't.
If they put it on another console, they just shoot themselves in the foot even more. It's just more boys trapped in purgatory mining crypto.
I've heard so many good things about it. It seems like the only MMO. Like, I'm not a big fan of MMOs. I'll be very upfront about that. But I am a very big fan of Final Fantasy, and it seems like from the gameplay I've seen and from everything I've heard, it seems like it'd be fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've been giving you constant shit since you started talking about it, just because it's funny. So sorry about that. But no,
You're fine.
everything that I have heard about it, especially after I guess the first patch, which I'm guessing is the Realm Reborn. Like I know very little about it, but I've heard time and time again people just rave about how good, not necessarily it was when it came out, but how good it got, or how good it is now.
Yeah, no, 14 might be my favorite Final Fantasy game in general.
Ooh, now that's a call.
I'm always debating between at the moment I'm debating between 14, 10, and 7. Those are my current top 3. Yeah, 14 in general is really fantastic, and just to prepare you for it, Stephen, every expansion is a full Final Fantasy a full Final Fantasy game's worth of content.
Yeah, everyone said that. So it's like 4 expansions at the moment, isn't there? With the newest one that just came out.
There's A Realm Reborn, Heaven's Word, Stormblood, Shadowbringers, and Endwalker. So 5.
Jeez.
So each of those are like 40 to 60 hours long. That's a lot of time to go through.
Oh my god. So let's say I just ring up my local loan shark and go, hey, I want to buy Final Fantasy 14. Do I need money to pay up front, like Overwatch, or is it like monthly subscription? How do I pay for this?
It's both. The game's pretty cheap on its own. I think it's like 80 Australian to get like the complete edition that has all the expansions just ready to go.
Fuck, that's alright.
You'll get a 3-month subscription with that, and it's about $20 Australian a month after that.
So you're telling me there are 21,000 people that have been paying $20 a month for at least a month for the past little bit.
Quick, do the math.
Yeah, that's
400,000.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
Fucking
that's
such
a
lot of
ton of money, but on top of that,
400,000 for a month.
Yeah.
Sorry, I derailed you
yeah,
again.
I lost my train of thought for a second because of thinking about how much money that is.
Yeah.
That's at least $2.
Yeah, no, it's at least more than $20. That's crazy.
Yeah, because of the server issues, they've given 7 days free to everyone's subscription at the moment, just as an apology. But they're open to extending that to even further free time for everyone.
Oh, I really wanted you to say even further beyond.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
So close.
If the problems persist, they're going to give more free time. And I can see these problems persisting for at least another week.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, if I was to buy it now, I effectively get to trial it for free.
If you get it now, you can trial it up to the end of Heaven's Word, the critically acclaimed expansion, Heaven's Word. I'm not going to do the whole bit. I don't have it memorized like that. As a free player, you can play through the first 2 expansions free.
Oh, hang on. So, sorry, what do you mean? Like, as a free player, isn't you just pay up front and you don't pay subscription, and it still just gives you the first 2 expansions?
No, you don't pay at all. You get the first 2 expansions for free.
Wait, so you...
What are we
whoa,
doing
whoa,
recording this? Why am I not just playing fucking 14? What the hell? Okay.
So you get the base game of 14 plus 2 expansions for free, and it's like...
No, I'm the base game. I'm counting as 1 expansion.
Okay.
So you get A Realm Reborn and you get Heaven's Word, and Heaven's Word is up there as one of the better Final Fantasy experiences.
Fucking hell. Man, X-Pros, we're losing.
So I make a character. I go and start this. Is it the same character through the entire way? Or does it swap between expansions? Is there like much point? What's the...
No, it's your character throughout the entire way, and you'll interact with a group of characters. You'll like expand across the world. It's just your character going through a massively long journey. And as the expansions go,
sorry, you go.
Sorry, we're trying to talk over each other about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, as the expansions go, they start opening up more to giving you dialogue choices that they don't account for too much in the story, but sometimes they'll have little flavor text that just kind of helps flesh out the characters and your own character a little bit more. One of my favorite interactions being one of the characters telling you that you need to go to rest, and you can tell her, sure, mum, and she'll tell you, don't make me take you across the knee without supper.
Damn.
So Too Long didn't read. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, enjoying it a ton. I'm going so to give a little bit of what I'm doing at the moment in Endwalker.
Yeah.
I'm playing through as a paladin right now because that was the first job that I picked when I started the game. So I think just to finish off this story arc, I'm going to go with the job that I started the game as.
Is there incentive to go back and play as a different job?
There is actually not specifically for this expansion, but if you've leveled up your other jobs, you'll get flavor text every now and then. So before Endwalker came out, I started leveling White Mage to learn how to heal, and I ran into there's this big like war room scene that I've just passed recently, and the White Mage quest giver is there. So as he's going through his little speech about how he's glad to join in and everything, he'll turn to you for a brief moment and say, "I'm also glad that there's an experienced white mage here to help along the way." Like I wasn't even white mage in that scene. I was still a paladin, but because I had done the white mage quest, the character acknowledges that I've been through that and I am a pretty damn good white mage now.
So that seems very that seems like a very kind of almost fan servicey thing to as if you'd be doing it in single player. So obviously it's an MMO. Well, obviously it is an MMO, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So what if you're going through different scenes and there's different dialogue and stuff? So how does the multiplayer factor in? Are there other people doing the same like storyline as you, or are you just in the same world as these other people?
You're in the same world as these other people. The way that they explain all the other characters around the world is that they're all different. They're all part of the Adventurers Guild as well, because you start off the game going into an adventuring guild. And so everyone that populates the world is just an adventurer alongside you, but your character specifically is the famed warrior of light.
Did one of them used to be an adventurer before he took an arrow?
Oh, fucking hell.
To the place between his upper and lower leg?
It's been 4 years since I've probably heard that last.
Second alley-oop of the podcast.
I don't know if there's a Skyrim joke in this game.
Oh, surely.
It feels like
Yeah.
it feels like something that should be there. Yeah, but
There'd be one dev that slipped it in past the engineering manager, surely.
Yeah, if you want things that the developers love, they love the shit out of Game of Thrones, and you can tell that by the end of A Realm Reborn. They just do their own red wedding in that game.
Oh no. No, that sounds sick. I actually didn't realize that was like a free thing. Oh yeah, no, that's what I was gonna ask. So, there's like a small RPG that I play, Borderlands, where like eventually you just hit the max level, and then there's nothing. Every so often they'll release a DLC pack, or whatever, and they'll be like, hey, you have more levels now. But if they, back 5 expansions ago, just had the base game out, and you played it more than the recommended amount, like the amount that your doctor would suggest that you go outside, and then hit, I assume, a max level.
Yeah, there is a max level. Yes.
Yeah. So is the cap increase with each expansion, or
yeah, it goes up 10 levels every expansion.
And is there is there like I guess aside from the story, is there like a gameplay benefit to just like I'll put it a different way. I'm the kind of guy who, in Borderlands, which you may or may not have heard of, I got every character to max level, and I take a sick amount of pride in that. I honestly can't tell you why. I just like having a character select screen where they're all at max. Is there a point to doing that in 14?
Yes, in a sense. It's all gameplay related stuff. So your one character can go through any job. So there's like, God, I think there's 18 jobs at this point just for melee and magical builds, but you don't have to switch characters to change your jobs. You just change your equipment loadouts. So your one character can go from a paladin to a dark knight to a white mage and everything. So you can spec out into all of them, and once you hit cap for all of them, and a bunch of other things as well that lead up to it eventually, you can become a mentor, which will unlock mentor-related duties and things of that such.
Sorry, so are you saying that your character level and job level are separate?
Your character level is your job level. So once you go to a different job, it resets down to 0. So you got to start from 0 for every job.
But then if you switch back, like White Mage back to Paladin, say, do you keep previous progress?
Yeah, you keep your previous progress.
Okay, yeah, now I'm following. So it'd be more like taking one character and making them do a bunch of jobs than it would be making one character for each job.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And each job has their own storyline attached to them, so there's benefits to go through all of them in that way as well. So it ends up becoming that, like I said, they're doing flavor text now. Like when I was doing Heavensward, I was playing as a Dragoon, and the Dragoon questline in A Realm Reborn makes mention of how it's really weird that there's 2 Azure Dragoons in the world right now. There should only be 1. And because I had gone through all that questline and everything, Heavensward is a very Dragoon-oriented storyline. So they make a lot of callbacks to you and the other Dragoon being partners and both being the famed Azure Dragoons of the world. So it's all very interesting how they do callbacks like that.
That's cool. So if I was to start playing tomorrow, would I have to go through each expansion sequentially to get to
Yeah, you need to go through every expansion sequentially.
Yeah, why you wouldn't skip, would you? That's ridiculous. Like
you can skip,
what
but
if
it costs money.
Yeah, exactly. But what if I have my mum's credit card lying around and I don't have the time to invest? I just want the unlock the battle pass. I want to skip to level 500.
Yeah, you can go to the store that 14 has and just buy story skips. I don't suggest it because I think the story is one of the highlights of Final Fantasy 14. But if all you care about is doing endgame content, then you do you, bro.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, cool. So I guess we'll wrap it up with the second of the fabled Stevens 3 TLDRs. What would you give it out of 10?
Right now, Endwalker is sitting on probably 9 out of 10.
Even with 3-hour queue times?
Even with 3-hour queue times, I'm dropping that down to play something else until the queues are better.
Yeah, I guess you have it open in one screen and then you're sort of playing another game.
Literally do anything else. Watch a movie while the queue's going. Watch 2 movies while you're at it.
Do your day job.
You started at 2, 5 clicks around. Yeah, boys, I'm in.
Just in time. Oh no, that's cool. That's cool. Right. Well, I assume we're going to end up talking about this next week when hopefully the queues have settled down, and you'll be able to play it without having to sit in purgatory for 3 hours.
Yeah, I hope so. I'd like to play more this weekend.
And that takes us to the end of the game section for this week. And now we will touch on some news. We were just talking about Final Fantasy XIV. Seth, you have some Final Fantasy XIV news for us.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy XIV has teamed up with Grubhub to give players an emote if they order pizza through the app. And the emote is just your Warrior of Light eating a slice of pizza and enjoying it. This continues 14's weird obsession with pizza-related giveaways, because when Shadowbringers released 2 years ago, there was a promotion where if you bought $60 worth of pizza, you'd get Shadowbringers for free.
So my question with this, right? It seems fine, but if you were the person running this deal, if someone ordered the pizza wanting the emote and they got pineapple on that pizza, would you give them the emote or would you tell them to order a real pizza?
I think the emote would probably be on the receipt, at which point I would tell them no, they can't have it, order something else. It'd have to be part of the ordering process. Actually, no, you can't because it's through Grubhub. So I guess you're just stuck making that order, or just don't deliver the order and they get their emote anyway.
you make the pizza specifically to order and then just pick all the pineapple back off.
God, what a monster.
Yuck.
What about you, Steve? What would you do? You have all the pizza power in the world?
I'd probably just make a pizza with everything. Like, give me the lot, but it's like literally everything. And then I'd put like another pizza base on top, so it's like a big sandwich.
It sounds like a calzone.
Yeah. It sounds like someone's like shit attempt at a calzone. But would you do it with like a hot dog stuffed crust?
Oh god,
it's got to be the cheesy stuffed crust.
Yeah,
cheesy hot dog stuffed. Oh no, what was the one? The full-on hamburger stuffed crust.
I was literally just about to say that. Yeah, like it's. Oh, mwah.
I'm not sure if you ever had it over there, Patrick, but over here for a little bit of time we had
the pie.
Yeah, the pie crust.
Which to anyone listening overseas, it's not like pumpkin pie. It's like savory mince pie. Like,
Mince and
Yeah, it's
gravy.
like a meat pie.
yeah, no,
that's
because
right.
pies aren't really a thing over in North America. When you say pie, it's assumed to be like a sweet dessert food, not like a savory builder food. But yeah, no, like a savory, yeah, as you say, meat and gravy, like steak and cheese type deal, stuffed into the crust. Which I don't know. I I feel like it's the
God,
sort
I
of
want
thing
a pizza so much right now.
I'd probably try it once.
Yeah,
I don't think it would be a staple.
It definitely wouldn't be a staple, but it's something that I'm curious enough to try. I tried the KFC Double Down once, like 13 years ago when it first came out here, and that was a mistake.
Mm.
If I did get the mince pie stuffed crust, I'd expect like 2 emotes, or I'd expect the emote, but my character just looks at the pizza in confusion, and he just doesn't know which end to eat first.
It's a mystery, that one.
Wasn't there like a SpongeBob pizza that came out recently?
Oh God, I hope not.
Again, I don't know if you have it over there, Patrick, but Domino's over here just decided to do the Vegemite pizza, and I am too scared to try that.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, I'd be all about that. You guys got Mr. Wedge?
No.
No.
That's like one of the popular Domino's staples. It's like yeah, potato wedges, but not like full on wedges, like bits of cut up wedge. It's almost it's like one step away from like a breakfast pizza with hash browns. It's real good.
Oh, but I put hash browns on pizza all the time.
Next to my
The breakfast
pineapple, you
special.
fucking cretin.
No,
You guys
why
are
would I put
monsters.
pineapple
What are
on
you
pizza?
doing putting potato on pizza?
So it's
No,
just like it's like a scrambled. It's like a big breakfast, but you just put it on a pizza. Mwah, that's it.
Yeah, no, it's top 10 hangover food right there.
Hangover food.
Because the thing is, when there's potato on the pizza, when you take it out of the fridge and put it in the microwave, it's exactly the same. Like,
Now tandoori pizzas and satay chicken pizzas. Oh,
Remind me never to let you guys order me food ever again.
so I heard that there's this great deal with Grubhub where you could get an emote for Final Fantasy 14, and all you need to do is just order a potato pizza. It's crazy. It's such good value.
I'll order the pizza, but you're eating it. I'm keeping the emote.
yeah.
See, that
Happy.
sounds like a threat, but I don't think you understand just how depraved I will go with my pizza choices.
As long as there's no pineapple on it.
What was there was a meme like 10 years ago with like the worst thing you could get from Domino's. It was like left beef with cheese or something.
What?
It was like a pizza base, no tomato or anything. It was just a pizza base and then just meat, but only on one side.
Oh,
I don't remember what it was called. I'm pretty sure it was called
Why?
a half beef with something.
Jesus.
I'd do that for the emote.
just give me
Yeah.
a pepperoni pizza, please.
Yeah, pepperoni top tier. Pepperoni top tier. Anyway, next piece of news.
So I've done it before. I'm doing it again. It's time for the fighting game power hour.
If we get really ambitious, we'll edit some air horns in right here, like. Pow, pow. Anyway,
It's gotta be a fighting games round start.
All right. It's Saturday night. I have no date, a 2-liter bottle of Shasta, and my all-rush mixtape. Let's rock.
yeah. First up in the power hour, which hopefully won't actually go for an hour. We're talking about BlazBlue.
Yeah, Arc System Works keeps
Or
on
Blaze
winning.
Blue.
Yeah, BlazBlue. 2 BlazBlue games are getting rollback netcode. I've talked about this before in one of the earlier episodes. Rollback is the netcode that you want in your fighting games. And
Which means that they're running dedicated servers, right?
No. Dedicated servers was something that that Riot was doing for their game. Rollback was just it's a better connection for the 2 people that are connecting to each other.
Ah, gotcha. Yep.
Yeah. So, BlazBlue Central Fiction and BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle are both getting rollback added to them. BlazBlue Central Fiction already has it on PC, but in beta form. And it's going to be completely released on PC and PlayStation consoles January 2022, I believe. And BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle is just sometime in 2022 it's getting added. So that's exciting for BlazBlue players. Central Fiction went very cheap yesterday, so I bought it. I haven't played it online yet to test out the netcode. I want a little bit of time to learn how to play that game first, and I'll report back how that netcode feels.
Looking forward to it. Arc System Works has other news for us.
Baiken, my favorite character from the Guilty Gear games, and a lot of people love her but don't play her. She is coming to Guilty Gear Strive.
Well, I mean, love her but can't play. Well, like don't play. You mean can't play her, right? Because she's coming to Guilty Gear Strive. They wouldn't be able to play her before now.
No. In every Guilty Gear game, Baiken is in there, and there's always a big debacle about how everyone loves Baiken. She's always at the top of popularity charts, but no one actually plays her because Baiken players are just vocal. Players in quotation marks. A lot of people just like the character for her character design.
Yeah, so Baiken Sims.
Yeah, Baiken Sims. I'd like to go on record and say that I like Baiken because I played the original Guilty Gear and she was like the super hard final character to unlock. And after I spent like a week trying to unlock her, sorry, that Steven dropped.
Yeah, no, that threw me as well.
Yeah.
We'll see if he comes back. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, sorry. So once I unlocked Baiken, I gave her a try, and I really dug how she played in the original Guilty Gear. I just haven't played a whole lot of Guilty Gear since then, but I tried her out in Revelator for a little bit. I don't play online with the Guilty Gear games because I'm always scared of just running into the people that are super dedicated to those games. So
Don't you feel guilty about not playing online though?
no, not at all.
This man drops out of the recording, comes back in,
I'm
and
sorry.
just reopens with that. What the fuck?
I'm sorry, I accidentally closed Discord. But it's still recording. It's fine. It's fine. I don't feel guilty about that.
Oh,
There's a lot of
boy.
gears in motion,
Oh my.
Yeah.
Jeez.
etc. I'll strive to do better.
Oh, there we
So-
go. I was
so-
waiting
Yeah.
for the third one.
all this to say that I'm a Baiken simp that plays Baiken in training mode and against my friends, but never online against other people because I'm too scared of getting mulched.
Unleash the Baiken.
I'm not a big fan of Guilty Gear Strive, but I will play her when she comes out in Strive.
As well as getting played by her when you come up against a stronger one online.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of day one Baikens when she releases, so hopefully I can get through some of those before getting mulched.
That's cool. Next up on the docket, Virtua Fighter 5 has some big news.
Yeah, Virtua Fighter 5 is slowly dying because that came out recently. It was also given away for free on PlayStation Plus when it came out, but
Never a good sign.
no, that's usually a good sign because Rocket League did that, and it got really successful on console when it came out for free on PlayStation. It was part of the reason why that game launched so well. So the Virtua Fighter devs were probably hoping to strike that sort of similar iron, but they put in delay-based netcode, and that's the netcode that no one likes. So everyone voted with their wallets, like literally their free wallet as well, and just did not play that game. So now, in an attempt to bring people back, they're trying to entice the Yakuza fans to come try it out by putting in Yakuza-related DLC for all the characters.
That seems those games seem very different.
Not really, because when I believe it was Yakuza 6. It had the entirety of Virtua Fighter 5 just on the disc as well that you could launch from a separate menu. Or you could go into the arcades in the Yakuza hub world and just load up Virtua Fighter from there.
Why do you reckon it's called Virtua Fighter and not Virtual Fighter?
Because Sega does a bunch of these games where it's called Virtua instead of Virtual for some reason.
Oh.
They've got a big catalog of games under that sort of brand.
See, when they wanted to get the Twitter handle, Virtual Fighter 5 was too long, so they had to go Virtua Fighter 5, in the similar way that our Twitter handle at Fast Travel Lounge had to crop one of the L's off. We do that in solidarity with Sega.
Which L was it? Which one did you lose?
Still
And the
don't
T
know.
as well.
Still no idea.
It's the L that Riot took.
True.
the DLC looks pretty fun, but yeah,
Yeah,
the game.
do you think it'll work? Do you think it'll actually revive the player base a bit?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not until they do a netcode update. Like these netcode updates for the Arc System Works games are breathing new life into those games. They're getting a lot more sales, a lot more people playing the games, and it works when you make an online player base that can actually play your game. If you're using delay-based netcodes, no one can play that game in a good sense. So you just send people you're just putting out a dead game at this point if you're doing that. Originally there was no choice, but there's enough games with rollback now that you just can ignore these
And
games.
speaking of dead games, the final story in SAS Power Hour, which I will actually announce just because I keep anti-shelling, I don't know, dunking on. Take your pick of words.
Before you do that, you skipped over one of the other ones. So I really want to end with
I did.
your one.
Sorry. Yeah, Skullgirl's
yeah.
Umbrella. I don't know how I missed that. We jumped down one. Ooh, my bad.
Yeah, it's fine. I really want the one you're about to announce to end this section. So
Yeah.
I just got to roll it back to this real quick.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned for that spicy bait.
That was the tease. You gotta stick around for like 5 minutes to hear the payoff.
So yeah, earlier this year it got announced that Umbrella was coming to Skullgirls. They've put out a trailer that shows out her moveset. She looks pretty fun. She's coming sometime early 2022 as well. And right after her release was announced, they also teased that Black Dahlia is coming next. Black Dahlia was a character that they teased a while ago. They've shown she's a bunch of these characters. They've had their character designs revealed for quite a long time, and a bunch of them had fan support behind them. So Black Dahlia must have been one that had a lot of support behind her, and now she's being added to the game, making a lot of people happy.
That's cool. Is Skullgirls part of a larger... So I think Skullgirls is one of those that I picked up on sale but never really got into. Is it part of like a larger like universe of characters? Like, you know, Biken coming back is like a big deal. Is Umbrella coming like a big deal as a callback to a previous game? Or is it just a popular
Skullgirls is
design?
a one-off game, and
So
Umbrella
it's
was
just a popular design?
Yeah, just popular designs from when they were showing their Kickstarters. I believe at the end of the game's original lifespan, because this is basically a second life for the game where they're bringing out a season pass now that they got rid of Mike Z for being a problem.
Very coded language there, but yeah, continue.
Yeah. When at the end of the game's original lifespan, I think they did like this massive poll of like 10 or so different character designs that people voted on, and I think that Beowulf won that, but there were a lot of also other very popular characters, and I believe that a lot of these characters coming to the game now were from that initial 10 character or so pitch.
Right, okay. Because they probably would have started some amount of work on all of them and then just kind of picked up each one as the community wanted it.
Yeah. So yeah, good news for Skullgirls players, good news for Black Dahlia fans and Umbrella fans. I can't wait to see what other characters they bring to this game, because Skullgirls is a genuinely fantastic game as well.
Yeah, it's one that we were doing like, well, I was getting absolutely slaughtered in couch, in like, I don't know, Couch Royale, Couch King, whatever, at a friend's place a while ago. And so I went home, added it to wishlist. Steam was like, yo bro, 50% off. I went, hell yeah, bought it. Haven't played, like, I think I booted it a couple times, but just haven't really played it as much. But I don't know, maybe this will get me to open it up again, dive back in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd suggest it. Skullgirls goes on sale a lot, actually. Like,
yeah, well that's sort of why I picked it up. It just so happened that Steam read my mind and my wallet.
Yeah, I picked up like 4 copies of the game for $2 each at one point to give away. I think I'm still sitting on a couple of those codes.
Hey, Steve, do you have Skullgirls?
No, I don't really. I remember hearing all about it when it came out, and then everybody still says it's really good, and I just sort of like, all right, and it's sort of my eyes glaze over.
What
I'm not a
if
big fan of fighting games.
What if I told you that if you buy someone a pizza, that they will give you a Skullgirls code?
Is it Skull Pizza?
I don't know. You have to ask the person you're going to buy the pizza for.
Just shape the pepperoni in the shape of a skull.
Could you imagine being the poor guy who probably works barely above minimum wage at Domino's, and there's like any special requests for the order, like any dietary requirements, you're like, yes, I can only eat pepperoni in the shape of skulls. At that point, I feel like you'd put pineapple on the pizza just to spite him.
God, please, no.
Maybe I'm just feeling extra vindictive today. Who knows?
So where does Skullgirl sit on the tier of fighting games? Is it?
It's not one of the big league players like Street Fighter or Tekken or any of those, but it's got a very big. It's basically the FGC equivalent of what Super Smash Bros. Melee is, in the sense of it's got a very strong grassroots
Say
player
no more,
base.
fam. Say no more. No one showers. It's all filled with
Yeah.
pedophiles,
So what
yep.
you're saying is
No.
I can smell my opponent through the screen.
Not in that sense. It's more it's very community driven, community tournaments run. It's got a lot of player support, but as far as I know, the players shower and they're not pedophiles.
Two things I look for when I select my fighting game. I love how Seth had this moment of like, it's got this great grassroots community and like really wanted to build it up and talk about how wonderful it was. And Steve just took that and then went, but what if it wasn't?
What if it was the opposite?
Yeah,
No,
what if
but no,
we turn that on its head?
So is there sort of like now going like really off topic into melee territory, but is there like of just people just sort of have their own sort of LAN parties with it, or is it sort of an online type of thing?
It's fighting game tournaments are usually face to face, but like current predicament as it is, they're mostly online, which is again where the rollback thing comes into play. And
Okay.
and Skullgirls is a game that runs on rollback, so the online tournaments for that can always run smoothly.
Yeah,
like that game will live no matter what.
Plus, I just like the art style of it. Like, if nothing else, even if I never play it again, which I probably will, but just I appreciate the art style of it. It's a very cool art style.
Yeah, it's a very pretty game.
And the soundtrack goes off.
Oh man, that soundtrack is fantastic. Very jazzy and upbeat.
Yep, absolutely bang. It's kind of like fighting game Cuphead in a few ways. Sort of like harkens back to the older style of the like hand drawn animations and big.
It even has a character that's very inspired by that era of animation.
Yeah, oh, very cool. Anyway, hopefully now I'm. we're gonna try this again. Wait, first of all, Seth, are we good? Are we good?
We good.
Okay,
that's
we're good.
all.
Right.
That's all of the major fighting games.
So just cast your mind back to 10 minutes ago. Speaking of dead games, just because the segue was great, a dead game that I like to continually kick while it's down and probably will never come back up. Garfield is being added to All-Star Brawl, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. I don't really know why.
He was in the leaks like when the game came out. People knew this was coming right away, so it was just a matter of time.
It's I don't know. Knowing that there's no voice acting or any kind of sound kind of just makes it seem that you just get to play as an orange cat that likes lasagna.
So canonically, it looks
Cannelloni.
like Chris Pratt would be in the All-Star Brawl.
Oh god, he could too.
Universe.
He's Garfield.
Yeah, he's Garfield's voice. But
It all comes together.
But he's not. No, they specifically this was their master plan. They didn't get Chris Pratt. Well, Chris Pratt can't be in there because he's the voice and Garfield has no voice.
Yeah, they didn't get anyone in this game.
Yeah, specifically to dodge to break the Chris Pratt paradox.
That was still so dumb. How could they not get voices?
But if they ever add voices to the game, they could do Chris Pratt.
They could.
Hell, if the people that were going to make the mods are still on there, get Chris Pratt voice in for Garfield.
Hey, Chris Pratt, I know you're listening. Do us. Josh isn't here. Okay, he can't hurt you. Do us a solid. Be the voice actor you were born to be. Voice fucking Garfield and Nick All-Star Brawl.
Just make a couple of cringe noises. Say lasagna like once or twice. It'll be all good. We'll
Say
make it
it's
work.
me, Garfield. So the thing that I found really funny is that for the announcement trailer that they did for this, which you can find on YouTube, just Garfield All-Star Brawl announcement trailer. They went through like 6 characters and then just said, and now introducing Garfield. Like, what was the like? There are more than 6 characters in All-Star Brawl. Why did they just pick 6 random characters and then just go and introducing Garfield?
It was showing their all-stars.
But that just means the people that they didn't show aren't all-stars.
They were just showing a few of their all-stars.
It just seems like such a weird way to mark. Like, could you imagine if, like, for the Sora announcement, he like they go through like half of the roster and then just go and introducing Sora.
I mean, they kind of did. They showed the Inkling looking at the fire. They showed Mario grabbing the Keyblade.
Yeah, and then they introduced Sora. They didn't go through like half of the roster, like, and here's Patrick Star, and here's SpongeBob, and here's Top, and here's Michelangelo, and here's I don't know. There was like a few others, and just and here's Garfield. Garfield has entered the chat.
Do you reckon that they knew what they were doing when they called it Nickelodeon All Stars, and they didn't have the soundtrack or the song from Smash Mouth in it?
I don't think so at all. I think they were just trying to ride off the coattails of the very fantastic PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale.
Oh, part of me misses that game. Part of me wonders why I ever played it.
I played that game too much.
We've touched on this before. I swear we've touched on this.
We have. Meet me online with my level 999 Jack.
Yeah, that's right. You played Jack. So I played Kratos, and we had a discussion about. Yeah, man, what a time.
It was a simpler time.
That was a thing that existed. I did enjoy playing, having it on my Vita, so I could play with, other people on their PS3, and I didn't need to borrow a controller. I had my own.
Yeah. You're on the superior console. You could play it anywhere.
It's true. And I did play it anywhere.
The Vita means life.
Yeah, me and the 10 other Vita people out there.
One day I'll bring that
me.
up to 11 for you. I'll buy another Vita so I can rejoin you in that cult.
Have a little convention, little meet and greet with the other people who own Vitas around the world. No, I'm glad that they're adding DLC. I don't think it'll help. I think the problems with All-Star Brawl are bigger than just like I don't
it's too
think
big
the
for
problems,
Garfield.
Yeah, I don't think the problems would be fixed by just Garfield being in the game.
Mondays, am I right?
Yeah, Mondays, am I right? Voice acting, am I right?
Multiverses has already taken all of its thunder.
It
It's not
has.
even out yet, is it?
It doesn't need to be.
It doesn't need to be.
Yeah, I guess.
The fact its announcement just ate its lunch.
Yeah, like there are so few
Yeah.
people. Like I'm still kind of waiting for a story where someone streaming All-Star Brawl is just going to start streaming like pay-per-view matches on Twitch just because the mods don't bother with something that has such a low view count. Like the Artifact controversy from a couple of years ago. Do you guys remember that?
I do not actually.
Oh, okay. So Artifact, the Dota 2 card game that
Oh, the one
is
that got cancelled.
absolutely dead. Just super, super dead now. That had such a tank in player rating that at one stage, particularly before it came out, it was hyped and it was actually like quite high up on Twitch in terms of games played. But the ratings for it tanked so hard after it came out that no one was watching it on Twitch, which meant that the mods didn't really patrol chats for Artifact or streams for Artifact because they were so small compared to all the other games people were playing. And so what people started doing is they started opening up Artifact streams and then just streaming like pay-per-view MMA fights and things and just like pirated movies. And it was just all the shit that you normally can't get away with on Twitch. And they did this for like, I think it was like a week before Twitch caught on to what they were doing. Just because there were so few people watching that those that did you can, yeah, I'm sure.
I feel like after that's happened, Twitch is gonna be more on top of that happening.
Maybe, but then they also got their entire website owned like a month ago, so you win some, you lose
That's
some.
true.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this will help. I think it's cute that Garfield's in this. I think the lack of voice acting is going to mean that it's kind of doesn't matter. I think you were saying before the show that his main stage is like a thing of lasagna.
Yeah, it's just a big bowl of lasagna with 2 pizzas floating over it as the
Whoa,
platform.
fucking
pizzas!
good.
What's on the pizzas though?
It all
I think it was
comes
stuff
pepperoni
back.
actually.
But were they stuffed crust? Was it? Okay, hear me out. Lasagna stuffed crust pizza.
No.
Garfield stuffed crust pizza.
Chris Pratt's voice specifically stuffed crust
Okay,
pizza.
the pizza has pepperoni and mushrooms.
I don't know how I feel about that. Like one's
know,
just mushroom, one's
yeah.
just pepperoni. I feel like
No,
pure
it's sprinkled
pepperoni's better than.
across. It's sprinkled
Oh,
across.
no, pure pepperoni better than pepperoni and mushroom.
I like chicken and mushroom.
Yeah, no, chicken and mushroom good, but pepperoni and mushroom
Yeah, no, it's a good idea.
suboptimal.
He just seems like a fun guy at that point.
Can we move on? Can we kick
Yeah,
Steve next
and-
week? Can we bring Josh back and kick Steve?
Yeah, if you'd like to
No.
bring Josh back and kick Steve, let us know. Watch.
I'm the talent of this I'm the talent of this outfit.
Would you like to see Steve fast travel out of the lounge? Let us know.
All right, I'm making this a two-man show with me and Josh next week.
Good luck.
Understandable. But before we get to next week, we should talk about the Matrix putting a tech demo on late gen consoles.
Yeah, newest gen consoles are getting a Matrix Unreal Engine 5 experience coming around the time the Game Awards are happening. I think it's being revealed at the Game Awards.
Yeah, they're announcing what the tech demo is gonna. Yeah, I guess they're just revealing the tech demo at the Game Awards.
Yeah, I think it's going to be some sort of like storytelling tie-in with the movie that's coming out. Is the movie actually out already?
Not here.
No, it
Here-
comes out Boxing Day,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, same over here.
Yeah, so this is probably like a marketing thing to like get towards the movie coming out and like do some sort of crossover tie-in with it. But I'm kind of excited for it because I think this will show what Unreal Engine 5 can do for cinemas.
Yeah, well, I mean, all of the well, cinemas aside, all of the tech demos that I've seen for Unreal 5 have been freaking cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've all
like
been
it-
fantastic. It's really impressive what they can do with that engine.
Mm.
Oh, so it's the Matrix experience is coming out with the Game Awards. Is that okay?
Yeah. So if you want to know what
Alright.
it's like to be in the Matrix, tune into the Game Awards.
Yeah,
thought we lived
it's
in
also
the Matrix.
available for pre-download, so you can put it on your PS5 and Xbox Series consoles. God, I hate that, by the way.
It's called the Xbox X.
But it's for both. It's wait, what did you say? Xbox X?
Yeah, the Xbox X and the Piss Station 5, right?
Okay,
Piss-
No,
PS5.
it's the Xbox.
but yes, you can pre-download it on the PS5 and the Xbox consoles right now. So once it's probably going to be available after the Game Awards is over, and they're showing the sneak preview there. So just you can get it on there now, ready.
I'm going to
So
set it up to download tonight.
if by some miracle you listen to this before the Game Awards show tomorrow,
Yeah.
be sure to tune in and check it out.
Yeah, I should have prefaced this by it'll be too late when you hear this, like I did with some of my other news a few weeks back.
Just optimistically telling viewers what they can look forward to in the next 48 hours.
Yeah, God, it's not even that. It's like the next 12.
Oh, yeah, for the Game Awards it is, yeah. No, that's cool. I
soon,
am
boys.
actually excited to see what that looks
Yeah,
like.
once this is done, I might just go pre-download it.
Yeah, I think I might do the same. I'm not really sure what it's going to be, to be honest, but
It'll probably be like a 2 to 5 minute video. I don't see it being too long, but it should be something very cool.
And so obviously Keanu Reeves being in the Matrix, what are they calling it?
Resurrection.
Resurrection? Yeah, Resurrection. Yeah, I was gonna say Reloaded.
that
No,
it?
they've already done that. No, you're right. I'm pretty sure it's Resurrection. What was the quote that he did for when he was on Cyberpunk? At the,
Wake Up,
breathtaking.
Samurai?
You're breathtaking.
Yeah, you're breathtaking. You know what's not breathtaking? This next story. Boom, segue.
That was-
Love it.
That was the
It's just a
hardest
side
you
of
worked for a
punishment.
segue, my
Nothing.
dude.
Nothing but alley oops this episode. Josh
on
is
you,
gonna
big
look
fella.
back on this and cry. No, we should probably talk about the state of QA in with COD Warzone.
We did it, boys. We got Activision on the news again.
Yeah, the gift that just won't stop giving. No matter
I'm
how
pretty
much
sure
we
they've been on
ask.
all of our episodes so far.
Oh, that's
Like
not
Chris
the
Pratt.
consistency we want. Yeah, like Chris Pratt. like all of us except Josh. Anyway, the actual story. Activision Blizzard, well, specifically, was it Raven? Raven that's running some arm
Raven
of
team.
Call
They're
of
running
Duty.
the Warzone developing.
Yeah, so they decided that QA was overrated.
No, Raven didn't decide this. Activision did.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. I thought this was just Activision with Activision Blizzard's blessing. I didn't realize that Raven were just passengers.
Would you like me to take over for
No.
this one?
Please.
So Activision has fired a bunch of QA testers from Raven Software. So Raven has done a walkout in support of those QA testers that got laid off. From what I hear, some of these fires might have been because they were on Twitter asking people for video evidence of what was wrong with the Warzone, so like they could address what was happening. Like the QA testers doing their jobs, but because they had, hey, I'm a QA tester on Call of Duty Warzone in their bio, Activision told them, take that out of the bio. You're representing us as a company, even though nowhere on there they said they were affiliated with Activision in any way. Like they weren't saying, "Hey, Activision supports us," but Activision didn't like that this was happening and fired a bunch of QA testers.
30%, wasn't it?
Something like that, yes.
Something stupidly high. Yeah, because when
Yeah.
I think of the state of the games development industry, or just software engineering in general, I always think how there's always an overabundance of testing resources.
Yeah, no, games that come out at this stage just perfectly fine. There's no bugs. They're
Yeah,
all
we
perfect.
haven't seen any evidence of there needing more QA time on any of the games that have come out recently.
Not at all, especially not for 14 and their server issues.
No, that's shitty. I mean, it's kind of double shitty because I think the majority of people that work in games development in North America are on contracts where they can be fired at pretty much any time anyway, just because it's easier doing contract work than it is to actually take a full-time position at a company.
Yeah, and there's no unions over there to help the developers get somewhere further. It's all really shitty business practices there. I do not envy them in the slightest for working in those conditions.
No.
And like, my heart goes out to them. I'm really glad that Raven Software is like taking a stance against Activision for this as well. Like, good on them for sticking up for the QA testers.
Yeah, I mean, I I actually worked as QA, not in the games industry, but in software, for 6-7 months. Not that long, but long enough to know that generally you need more QA than less.
Yeah,
less
yeah.
less
from
QA,
yeah.
generally pretty bad.
Yeah, from everything I've heard, especially in like games testing, it's usually just doing the same thing or just trying to break it, and it's very
Easy.
very tedious. Oh yeah, easy and tedious.
No, sorry. Easy to break is what I meant. It's easy to
Oh,
break
yeah,
something that isn't properly QA tested.
Yeah.
Sorry, I completely fucked my point there. But yeah, no, developers great at writing code, not so great at thinking outside the box about what average Joe might do with the code that you write. And games development, whoa, I would have a field day being a QA in some of those places. But yeah, no, shitty that they're deciding that no, we don't want less bugs in games. Let's just ship them faster.
Yeah, actively going out and looking for the bugs now that is in players' hands is frowned upon apparently by Activision.
God forbid they try and do an efficient use of their time and save the company money, deliver a better playing experience for people.
You've got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Uh,
Now that will be the QA testers, the players.
yeah, well, I mean,
It's actually their 100 IQ move to save money.
to just crowdfund QA testing.
Yeah.
No.
They're just gonna
They pay Activision Blizzard to QA test. They pay money for the game, and then they get free QA testing.
They're just going to go onto the front page of Reddit each day. Be like, oh look, all of these bugs are there.
Yeah. What do you got to report to us today, Internet? Do you think, because we got what are we at, 3 or 4 weeks before Christmas, New Year's? Do you think we're going to get any good news stories out of Activision Blizzard?
God, no.
Bit of Christmas
Nah.
cheer.
The
bit
best
of silver linings.
news we're getting about Activision around Christmas is that they're giving their workers an extended Christmas break.
Which, I mean, even that's just to try and sweep under the rug all the other shit that's been going on at Activision Blizzard.
No one
even
can
feel
complain
genuine.
about bad working conditions if no one's working.
Yeah, true.
True.
Big brain. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I feel like it's probably one of those situations where it's kind of like they make the stand and we applaud them for making the stand, but I don't know that making a stand will be enough. Like, it seems
Activision has continually shown that no, making a stand is not enough.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like, we can applaud Raven for taking a stand, but they also seem to be kind of powerless to actually change the decision making process here. which sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks a lot.
I almost wanted to use the segue. Speaking of sucks, but probably
No,
not
no,
going to use
please,
that
no, don't. God, that would have been
Speaking of
horrible.
Smash players,
The final thing, and fuck.
You're trying to find a good way to segue to this news topic, aren't you?
I was, and I gave up.
Yeah,
the
there's no
final thing in our two-part shit sandwich for the end of the news segment. Sony has fired. Actually, I don't remember this guy's title. He was high up.
He was like a
Something
vice president,
vice
wasn't he?
president.
vice
something,
president
right?
of PSN.
Yeah, God, I don't know. I'm not even going to say his name, partially just because I don't really give a shit. But yeah, no. Apparently, being vice president of PSN and a pedophile has a pretty good overlap with this guy. Absolutely horrific.
Not to make light of this, but the way he was caught is kind of funny because it was by a amateur YouTube sting operation.
Yeah, and they do the type of things like the Chris Hansen videos back in the day, but they're a very amateur version of that.
They've nabbed a few high profile. Well, I mean, I say they. I don't know if it's the same group or not, but I mean, even there were a few even high profile YouTubers that got done in amateur stings in a similar kind of way.
Yeah, so People versus Preds busted the vice president of PSN for trying to groom a 15-year-old.
Which there's a screenshot of, or I guess a tweet of, this happening and this being reported initially. And the guy has a fucking either PS5 or PSN shirt on.
It's PS5.
That's just astounding. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. Like, I guess I just don't get it. I don't want to get it, but just at face value, I don't get it. Like, you're just asking to get linked with your work at that point. Like, I don't get it. I don't really know
It's
how
probably
much
one
more
of-
we can add to this story.
Yeah.
It's
It might be one of those things where you just took the
applaud-
closest shirt near him.
I
Yeah.
applaud Sony for immediately terminating the guy as soon as this came out.
Yeah.
Like, the reports came out that this guy was caught. Immediately, Sony took action and got rid of him.
yeah,
Yeah,
which
and they've probably got like no option. Well, even if they didn't have, even if this was sort of swept under the rug, they probably would have been like, "Nah, see you later, big fella, all the best."
yeah, I don't know.
Well, you'd hope.
I don't think this is a no option scenario. I think this is just we're going to proactively fire pedophiles. I think that's
Yeah,
probably a fair point to hold when you're a large like entity, specifically where a lot of your market is underage kids.
Rolling back to Activision, they're clearly not doing anything about the sexual abuse claims that are coming out of that company. So it'd be pretty concerning if this came out from Sony and there was no action either.
Yeah. Really ending on a high, huh? It's the second week in a row that
Yeah.
it's just been. Let's just finish on a shit news story.
Yeah, I mean, it's these have been like the biggest news story of the week, which is why. But
Yeah,
also,
I know.
man, what a
Welcome.
bummer.
Welcome back to the depression cast. Yeah, I think that. Do you have any final thoughts on it, Steve? Otherwise, we're probably gonna wrap news up.
Nah, not really. Like the PlayStation did the right thing. We're getting to a point where it's like, yeah, cool. If we could actively go out and get these type of people before they cause any damage, how good? But yeah, like that stuff will all come out later.
Yeah, like you can't kind of like overview every employee's social life. So it takes something like this to out these
Yeah.
people, and I'm glad that it's been outed so that this person can be taken out of a position of power, and hopefully some legal action gets taken against them. Apparently, the police won't do anything with the People versus Preds YouTube channel. Something about like the police
The
just
way they've
not
obtained evidence and things.
Yeah.
I think I've heard some talk about that a while ago. Yeah.
yeah, that the way they've gone about handling the situation isn't compliant with how police take the evidence, which is why these people do just out them publicly on YouTube. Which good, like expose these people, ruin their lives, please.
See, the crazy thing, just I guess my final thought on it is that it makes sense that action was taken this way because an outside source outed them. I'm not saying if this would have come up at Activision Blizzard, they'd sweep it under the rug, but I wouldn't be as shocked if maybe not pedophilia, but if something came up and we only hear about it, years down the track of, hey, oh yeah, no, we did an internal investigation in December 2021, and a couple of our executives were just actual
Yeah.
shitbags, but we just didn't do anything about it because only internal sources knew. And I think that's a horrendous state of affairs to be in, but that is kind of where I'm at, especially with Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, that's what I think as well. A lot of companies would just sort of sweep this stuff under the rug because got to make that money and share prices will go down if this is outed. So,
But my stonks, yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts? Well, we're just gonna close it up.
I think we're safe to close it up there.
yeah, close that.
Cool. Well, that finishes the news, depressingly, for whatever week this is now in a row. But I know we mentioned Game Awards being tomorrow, but I figure maybe we'll just do, because I know that we've been talking about doing like a look back over 2021 episode. We could do a bit of Game Awards discussion now if you guys are really feeling it, but I was thinking we just save it. Maybe we get Josh back in on it as well.
Yeah, save it. Get Josh back in, and we'll have the who actually won, and we can sort of just dogpile on that because our games didn't win. Or we haven't played the games that won.
I sort of feel like discussions like this, it's going to be, there'll be the I would have picked this in the category, and then just I would have picked this that wasn't even nominated. And so I think I think an episode, maybe next week, maybe
I think once we're out of the year, I don't think there's any major games coming up for the rest of the year, but like doing a look back after the year's done makes more sense to me.
What do you mean? Temtem for this coming out for the Xbox any day now.
Next week.
Game of the year, bro. Game of the year.
That's the big announcement they're doing it.
Yeah. That's the Unreal 5 tech demo.
That's why I'm telling you we got to wait till after the year's over, because then it gives time for Temtem to come out on Christmas.
Keanu Reeves walks out on the Game Awards stage, presents Temtem in Unreal 5.
Yeah,
and it's not on Game Pass, so I'm not going to touch it.
I thought it might be interesting to talk about the Game Awards, like just a little bit of what we expect, but at the same time, it's in 12 hours, and this episode's coming out after the Game Awards is going to happen.
So, yeah.
To the one listener that wanted our thoughts before we knew about the results, good luck.
You can ask us. You can ask us within the next couple of hours personally.
Yeah. If you somehow hear this from the future, feel free to come back in time and tell us in the next couple hours, and we'll be sure to include that into the next recording. But yeah, I figure that's where we'll probably wrap up the news for this week. We do have another audience question though. Aside from all of the where is Josh, we actually have one from friend of the podcast, Tom. He asks, do you think COVID-19 and lockdowns have had an effect on the way games are released or monetized? Start with you, Steve. What do you think?
Definitely, I'd say they have. We're probably seeing the tail end of the delays happening now, because all the games that came out like this year and last year, and even the start of next year, were pretty much already the 75-80% finished. So it's probably easy for them to sort of push them out of a line or just sort of delay them as it happened. But probably games that were more at the 25-50% stage, like where it was writing or a lot of creative processes need to be done, and maybe even some of the testing with some early concepts as well needed to be done. We'll probably see a lot of those delays coming through now. Some people are saying it might lead to some sort of weird period of 2022, 2023, maybe even a bit of 2024 when there's like a big dry spell of games, so that sort of gets resolved and things get picked back up. But yeah, it's the nature of the unprecedented times.
Yeah,
so you've touched on the development side. Do you have any thoughts on the monetization side?
I hate to say it. I hate to fucking say it because it brings out the cynic in me.
Battle Pass.
But I reckon, yeah, we're just going to see a lot more games going free to pay, a lot more predatory
free to pay
when it comes to.
Was that a deliberate choice of words? That's fantastic. Free to pay.
Yes, the best pun I did all day. Maybe I'm a cynic just because Halo Infinite's Battle Pass is atrocious. It's just a very easy way for companies to make money, especially when they might be having a bit of downtimes because of lockdowns or games getting delayed. It's a very easy way to be like, oh, look, our game will go free to play, but you can buy a cool skin for $10. Everyone's like, oh, it's just $10, let's just play it.
So you think it'll be like cosmetic Battle Pass monetization? You don't think it'll be like pay to win?
I'm looking at some of the stuff on the Halo marketplace is just getting posted recently as like $5 to $15 for a flower or a knife on your chest.
Yeah. I look into the store because I pray that they've given out free stuff, because I think like on their first week they did like a weird purple and red and white.
Yeah, red, white, and
armor
blue.
skin. Yeah, red, white, and blue. Yeah,
Yeah.
born in the USA. But yeah, like pay to win never really works. Everybody sort of dog piles on things and people don't play it. But it's
Pokemon
those
Unite would disagree with you.
Haven't they sort of changed that balance to sort of? Anyway, it's the Pokemon Unite discussion.
Welcome back to the
Don't get me
Pokemon Unite podcast.
They've got a winter event. Maybe we should play. Realistically, yeah, we're going to see a lot more games come out that are going to go with that free to play customization model, and maybe even loot boxes as well. But that's with a heavy caveat with that loot boxes in the I think it's the EU recently lost a pretty bad law. I think it was EA lost a lawsuit on like they can't really give out loot boxes with games rated under, I think it was like their version of like 15 plus.
Good.
Yeah, in the
Because
EU
it
specifically.
counts as because it counts as gambling. And I know in the US as well, they're starting to look at that as well, because it's that weird sort of thing where it's like video games are for kids.
It's a surprise mechanic.
It's gambling. Yeah, it's a
fucking boomer.
Yeah, it's Imagine paying $50 on something you don't even get like a rare item or something. Like, it just infuriates me.
Yeah. What about you, Josh?
Josh is
Thank you, Josh.
fella.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, no, just in case he's got thoughts on it. I guess he implicitly agrees with it. That's fine. What about you, sir?
Yeah, on the monetization side, I don't think that COVID's actually had any effect on it. The industry trends have been going this way for quite a while with the battle passes and the monetization schemes. So COVID didn't really have an effect on those. Those were always just kind of around. But in terms of development, yeah, I'm with Steve on that. I don't think we're going to see any LOLs next year or 2024. I think 2023. I think we're through the thick of it when it comes to a weird gap between AAA releases. Sony's looking pretty strong already next year. They've got Horizon, Gran Turismo, and God of War all lined up pretty well. A few things are still getting delayed here and there, but they seem to be more for, well, it's obviously for COVID and quality assurance through like those sort of things. But we're not seeing it as much as I think we were earlier. And I think we're through the thick of it, and we're going to start seeing a more steady stream of AAA and maybe even AA games coming through soon. I think the industry is back on a recovery road.
What about you, Pat? What do you think?
I'm sort of in two minds about it, because we saw that the lockdown, on one hand, obviously it's a lot harder to develop these things where you typically be in a studio where it's just easier to get a lot of work done, or at least that's my very other side of the world and software engineering job perception of just getting work done generally in the middle of COVID lockdown. But we've also seen that because people have been spending a lot more time at home, that we have had kind of the rise of the Twitch streamer, where their primary income source is video games. So I actually don't know what I think COVID's done to the monetization efforts. I think COVID has made gaming more accessible and more it's not even really that had a stigma, but just like more people are into gaming now than before COVID. I don't have any stats on that. It just kind of feels like that's sort of the case. That I actually think this is probably going to do quite good things, because traditionally you'd have a fairly cyclic release pattern of, AAA game, in whatever series, be it COD, be it Battlefield, be it Assassin's Creed, and you just kind of get that year on year. But I feel like a lot of the publishers that are smart will see that, because a lot of people are either looking at content related to games or actively making content to do with games, that hopefully, if the studios aren't in a precarious financial position, that they see this as a chance to start taking a few more of the risks, because I don't think I'm going to say anything too controversial when, at least from really big publishers, the last couple of years haven't exactly been stellar for new creative ideas. It's been mostly left to the sort of double A down to indie to come up with the freshness in the gaming industry.
Whoa. I'm not going to sit here and hear you say that the most innovative company in the world, Ubisoft, that's been putting out the pioneering open world game. I'm not going to say that the past 6 Far Cry games have been the same.
We just had a 20-minute conversation trying to figure out if Halo was going to be the exact carbon copy of a Ubisoft clone.
And both of those are indie games, so I don't know what you guys are bitching about. But I'm super optimistic about the state of gaming. I want the outlook, or I want the retrospective when we return to normal, as we've been saying for the past 20 bloody months. That
Hey, it's a 2-week lockdown, right?
Yeah. 14 days to stop the spread. I want us to look back on this and go, man, it was because of the amount of gaming that people did that we now have a more flourishing games industry than before. So my day job is more in software engineering for something like cinema. Cinema just kind of got fucked in COVID because there's not really a good replacement for it. But gaming, I'm more optimistic about. And monetization, I'm not sure. I think it's also going the way of trying to make it more accessible, and that unfortunately means more kind of freemium incentives like the battle pass system and whatever words you want to use that make it a battle pass without it being a battle pass, like your daily incentives to play and your in-game currency that you can earn to spend on cosmetics and stuff. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of those. If anything, I'd rather pay money to have them removed. But
yeah, no, 100%.
I see that being the prevailing trend, especially with the rise in casual gaming. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Do you reckon? Oh, especially since like what next gen launched last year, and we still don't really have any. Like the Halo came out like a year after. We've got Forza as well, and the PS5 has Demon Souls and whatever they've got.
Ratchet and Returnal.
Oh yeah, that's a game. Are we still sort of worried that because of the big semiconductor shortage, that because there isn't that many games being, so that just because a lot of people don't really have the next gen consoles, that they might be sort of holding back a bit?
See, the funny thing about that is that the PS5's actually in a better position than the PS4 was in terms of sales in a similar time frame.
It just makes you wonder though, if this wasn't going on, what would sales look like?
I think so I see where you're coming from. I think the one extra point on that is that you have to remember that because companies have put a shit ton of money into the R&D for these consoles, right? Like a lot of the cost in the developing the PS5 and things, that's already sunk. Like they've already spent that money. So they become incentivized to ship those consoles because they've already sunk that money into it. That it's kind of PS5 sort of in a weird spot where everyone wants one, no one can get one, and there isn't a huge catalog of games for it. But I don't think Sony looks at that and goes, we should be focusing on PS4. I think they will continue pressing forward on the assumption that eventually things like the semiconductor shortage and the supply of PS5s in general will catch up, because if they invest the money in the PS5s now, eventually people will get a PS5. But I don't think people that don't have a PS4 now are going to go out and suddenly buy a PS4 just because a game came out on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at as well, is that in terms of like actual sales data, the PS5 in its first year of release has actually sold more than the PS4 did in the PS4's first year of release. So like in a similar time frame, there's more PS5s out there than there were PS4s, and we're still in this area of everything's still going to be cross-gen for at least the next 6 months. And I feel like that's kind of annoying if you're someone that was an early adopter for the new consoles. But
I think it's only annoying if you didn't have the previous console though.
No, I
if you did have the previous console.
No, I think even if you did just jump into the newest gen from like if like let's say you skipped the PS4 and Xbox
Yeah.
One generation and you just got one of the new ones, I think you'd still be in an annoying place where there's nothing like new to play because a lot of stuff from last gen was on PC anyway. Let's assume that you were playing on PC last gen and like you wanted to try out the new consoles because like all the marketing has been going towards, hey, look at the
Right.
SSD.
So
we're
you're
better than
basically just
everything.
speaking to me right now. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. To you specifically.
Yeah, to me specifically. Everyone else just block your ears real quick. Seth and I are just gonna have a quick chat.
I do think it'd be kind of annoying to not have something that really showcases what the console can do on its own outside of like a small handful of games. And looking in the near future, there's still nothing to look forward to. Like the only thing I can think of announced right now that's purely next gen is Spider-Man, and I think that's got a release date of 2023. So that's like still a whole year and a bit away. We know that we know that God of War is going to be cross gen. There's no way that they made that decision because of COVID or anything. I feel like that was always in the plans, but I feel like COVID pushed back that game, and we were probably meant to get that out of the way by March, which is where I feel like the cutoff point should have been for cross-gen games like this.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah, no, you're right with that.
So yeah, kind of annoyed there's no like COVID's affected us in that way, but what can you do? We'll
It
get
is
we'll
Watch
get
Twitch.
what it is.
Yeah,
Listen to podcasts.
Yeah. Listen
Yeah.
to my podcast.
Come listen to the Fast Travel Lounge where we complain about Activision and beg Chris Pratt to acknowledge us.
Yeah. we simp for Chris Pratt, shit on Activision Blizzard, and try and derail Seth while talking about what sound like legitimately good games.
I swear
The
they're good.
Holy
Please,
Trinity.
Please listen.
I think that probably ties off the discussion quite nicely. If to those of you listening and you're thinking, man, it would be great if they talked about what I want them to talk about, tell us what you want us to talk about. Feel free to send us an email. We're at just fasttravellounge@gmail.com. I'm sure you could also tweet at us. Fast Travel Lounge minus one of the L's, the one that I assume Riot stole. I think that's the social plugs done. Did I miss any?
No, just our Facebook.
Oh, and our Facebook.
Who in this generation cares about Facebook?
Yeah, the best, the leading podcast platform, Facebook.
That's where I get all my spicy memes.
Where we are also Fast Travel Lounge. Do you want Josh to return next week? Let us know. Do you want Josh to stay away next week? Also let us know. No, I think this brings us to the end of episode 6 for Fast Travel Lounge. Thank you for joining. Take us away, Josh. I'm kidding. He's not here. Still not here. No, we'll see you next week.